Pancreation that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit creoninfo.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREON info.com.
Find more for your holiday at Family Dollar, like Betty Crocker baking goods, ornaments, and hundreds of toys under $15. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
So then Michigan fans actually thought they were good. Sorry, we in the middle of the show starts right in the middle of a joke I was telling. But anyways, welcome in everybody. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station 1410 Wing AM. I know all of you are hoping like, man, 2 straight days. Can we make it 3 straight days of just bashing Michigan? Not so much today. However, we will open up with some college football talk. We welcome everybody in. It is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. I want to talk about prime time. I want to talk about the Cincinnati Bearcats, and I want to talk about a potential pairing that I had not really considered until yesterday. But first of all, Mr. Kev Nash, welcome.
What up, Doe?
I keep hearing Christmas commercials.
Oh, yes. It is that time.
Thanksgiving seems like ages ago, by the way. Am I wrong?
That was just last week.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, I mean, technically a week ago from tomorrow, or a week, however you want to word that. But nonetheless, lots going on right now as we head into the month of December. But I will say, last week or earlier in the week, Monday, when did Fickle leave? I guess over the weekend, right?
Monday evening. I
don't even know what day it is. That's how crazy all this has been just over the last week with the holidays and everything else. Wanted to open up with this, though, before we get into the potential replacement for Fickle, your takeaway for Fickle, because look, I've never been as high on Fickle as everybody else. And I'll be clear. I don't think he's a bad coach. You don't put Cincinnati of all schools in a position to make the playoff. They're the only non-Power 5 school to ever make the college football playoff. And probably the last time it ever happens, especially in the 4-team college football playoff era as we currently sit here right now. I thought he was perfect for Cincinnati. I thought that he was perfect for that scene, but we always knew he was going to take a bigger job at some point. So all the do-gooders out there like, oh, I can't believe Justin's mad that he took a job to better himself. I'm pretty sure if ESPN offered him a job that he would take it and leave in a heartbeat. Yeah, and that's not what I'm mad at when it comes to Fickle. This is more of mad at the college football setup than I am Fickle, but it doesn't mean that he's immune. Just because he did a great job, that doesn't mean he's immune to being criticized for the same things I've criticized Brian Kelly for and other coaches. For years now, we've talked about Luke Fickle's loyalty to the Bearcats, to Cincinnati, how loyal he is. And I've been calling bull on that. I'm like, look, I mean, he's not, no one's 100% loyal in anything, right? Hell, even marriage, divorce rates over 50% nowadays. I mean, let's just be clear, right? Like, at the end of the day, it comes down.
Didn't you just get married like about 7 months ago?
I'm using the numbers speak for himself. I'm not talking about like us individual. I just mean like in general, there's no loyalty at all. So when Luke Fickle stayed years ago, when, him and his family on a personal jet to Lansing were ready to take the job, reports coming out that he was going to take the job, and then he turned down the job, and then he returned to Cincinnati, and everyone said he picked the Bearcats over Michigan State. I'm like, he picked the Bearcats over potential violations and potential,
or he picked 5 dudes that made it to the NFL.
if that was the case, he wouldn't have got on the jet to go to Michigan State anyways. I mean, that was when D'Antonio had left and there was potential sanctions coming down. It was the unknown. If there was no sanctions, you don't get on a personal jet to go tell somebody no. You were going over there with your family for one reason only, to take it. Probably didn't like what he had to hear. He had his back. Point is, he bolted, takes the Wisconsin job, don't really care about it. But my goodness, you cannot sit there with one game left on the season, not the regular season, but the season. You can't just pack up and leave. I mean, you can, because coaches do it all the time, and it doesn't mean that it's right. because these kids get vilified all the time when they do it. When the athletes do it, they're horrible. When the coaches do it, well, I mean, it's very smart. It's good business of them. Well, it's been good business for years for athletes who decide, you know what, maybe I'm not going to play the rest of the season. I got to make sure I'm healthy because the combine's coming up in a few months, and that's what's really important to me. They're selfish. But when coaches do it, oh, they earned it. They've worked hard. They blah, 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 insert do-gooder quote right there. And I'm like, go give me a break. This doesn't mean that he didn't work hard at Cincinnati. Me being annoyed with him doesn't mean that he wasn't good at Cincinnati. I think it's a weak move when you preach the importance of loyalty and team and respect and all that fun stuff, and then you bolt the second $7 million is dangled in front of you, and he was getting paid $5 at Cincinnati. My thing is this. You're offered Notre Dame, take it. You do that. Don't care who you hurt in the process. Like, it's Notre Dame. There's some there, but to question our intelligence and whatever and say that Wisconsin's a destination school. Wisconsin, that's what you risked it all for, was Wisconsin. Can't wait to watch them get beat by 50 every year in the Big Ten. So how do you feel?
So what was the question?
How do you feel?
I feel exactly the same way I feel about all the coaches that ultimately end up leaving the team that they're currently at, because let's be clear, the reason these coaches are getting this opportunity is because of the players' buy-in. The players buy into whatever the coach is selling. They wouldn't get these opportunities if they didn't buy in and the players didn't perform. If Luke Fickle was 7-5 at UC, he would not be getting this opportunity at Wisconsin. Just the same way the year, name whatever coach, what's Florida's head coach now name is drawing a blank on me. His team at Louisiana, they were 11-1. He got the Florida job. They get these opportunities because you take a non-Power 5 school and you show the ability to have buy-in and to win big at that program. So it's a messed up situation. And I definitely think that them being the NCAA moving up the early signing period has a lot to do with it, because, you know, they got to work on their recruiting class. They got to try to basically jump in there because the transfer portal is officially open for business. So them at Wisconsin or them at whatever school is hiring this coach, they want you in there. Like, it's not going to be a situation where, all right, man, we're going to let you finish it out at the old school and then you can show up here. The clock is just moved up, and that's no fault of the coach. It's just, unfortunately, the way things turn out. And I'm with you 100%. Like, if guys are going to be sitting out bowl games, players that is, and I don't want to hear anything about them sitting out bowl games, because coaches are sitting out bowl games too. They're on to the next. So it's a business for everybody. It's a business for the players. It's a business for the coaches. And I think it has a lot to do with how it's presented. We're seeing this right now with Deion Sanders. And Deion Sanders is being fallen after from Colorado to South Florida. A lot of rumors about Cincinnati as well. And it's the honesty that he's presenting not only to the media, but to his players. Like, hey, man, if I'm presented the right job, I'm taking it. I don't think we've ever heard a coach say that. We heard Nick Saban, when he was with the Dolphins, said, I'm not going to be the coach of Alabama. An hour later, he's the coach of Alabama and going on some crazy winning streaks and being the best college football coach of all time. It's the honesty. And I'm not sure that coaches have enough gumption or have enough swagger or have enough belief in themselves to look another player or their players and their parents in the face and tell them the truth. Like, look, hey, Jackson State, I came here, I done a lot, but if I get the offer from school X, I'm going, because that's one of my goals. So I think it has a growing process for all coaches to eventually get to that point to say, hey, I'll be taking another job if it's offered my way.
But it's also strange, because if Cincinnati was still an American Conference school, which technically they are the second, but like I said, that I tweeted out over the weekend that he had pulled. Why am I drawing a blank now? The old Butler coach went to the Celtics. Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens takes Butler out of the Horizon League at the time to back-to-back national championship games, back-to-back Final Fours, back-to-back national championship games. Butler, ginormous brand, all this, gets him to the A10, not the biggest of brands of conferences, but an upgraded conference, no doubt. And then instead of seeing the transition through, he bolts. Now, that's not really a good or bad thing. That's what happened, but that's what this reminds me of. you do these magical things at Cincinnati. You didn't just win, but you won, and you got them to the playoff, and you did things that have never been done before. And then now you're going to the Big 12, and it's just like one of those things where I could get why he bolted. I mean, again, it's not up to me, it's up to him, but I just thought I don't see this as a major upgrade. I don't see Wisconsin as a major upgrade. I don't think Wisconsin is a blue blood type of football school that, you drop everything for to go take. Thought it was interesting, but I think it also says too that maybe he wasn't confident about the pieces he had in place to transition into the Big 12. Look, I said this before too. You got to go. You got to strike while the iron's hot, and might have slightly cooled this year with Cincinnati not being ranked or not even in the playoff conversation. And maybe going into the Big 12, it's going to be an ugly transition into the Big 12. And then he risks his brand taking an even bigger hit with all the losing that'll take place over there for a while. So I get why he left, but at the same time, I just thought this would have locked him in at Cincinnati, going to the Big 12. Before we understood why he'd bolt, because it's the American Conference. But going to the Big 12, I thought that's what would have kept him there. I was a little surprised to see that he had bolted, especially for Wisconsin. Like, it's not even like one of those big premier jobs that's out there.
I think it's disappointing just for me on a personal level. I know certain kids that are being recruited by Cincinnati and, had phone calls with said head coach and waiting for those phone calls to transition to the other institution of higher learning, if you dig my drift. So I'm very curious to see what happens down there at UC. Interested to see what happens with those kids that were being recruited by UC, by Coach Fickle, because there's no question that Coach Fickle has the ability not only to identify quote unquote lesser talent and develop said talent. I mean, we talk about Darren Lee, former linebacker at Ohio State, first round pick, Sauce Gardner, first round pick, Kobe Bryant starting for the Seahawks, all dudes that are 2 and 3 star guys coming out of high school and making a crap ton of money, not only in the NFL, but balling out in the NFL. Sauce Gardner probably going to be the defensive rookie of the year. So, that ability that he has to identify talent and help develop that I mean, I wish that's the type of stuff that I wish Ohio State still had. I still wish Ohio State had a guy on the staff that's able to identify, like, hey, this dude is a 185-pound quarterback, but I can make him a linebacker like a Darren Lee. Like, we don't have that guy on the Ohio State recruiting staff right now. We sure did when Luke Fickle was there. He's nameless amounts of guys that he was able to bring to Ohio State and develop. But as far as him going to Wisconsin, I do think it's a lateral move for program to program. Now, conference to conference, that's a different argument. We were talking about how, all right, man, are there going to be just the Big Ten and the SEC in the near future? Because that is still out there. I mean, eventually Texas and Oklahoma would be joining the SEC. Won't be this upcoming season or the season after that, but eventually they will be there. So my question for Luke Fickle, in a moment of honesty, of like, what is this about with Cincinnati and Wisconsin, or is this about the Big Ten and the Big 12?
Charles Mitchell on Facebook says, coaches leave, players leave. It's a business. People should be happy when your team is better than when it was found, like Cincy or Jackson State. Okay, but where was that same hippy-dippy mindset when Brian Kelly left? Was anyone saying, well, good for Brian Kelly? Look at him just taking great opportunity. No, Luke Fickle's more likable. I mean, I understand the reasoning why, but let's not act like, what Brian Kelly did wasn't magnificent either. Like, every coach leaves for the same reason. I just always am amazed by why some fans forgive some coaches and hate on others. Now, I think the Brian Kelly hate for when he left Notre Dame to go to LSU, that just stemmed from the hatred that everyone around here had for him back when he did the same thing to Cincinnati. But Fickle's not doing anything different than what those coaches did in the past. I don't think there's any difference at all. Every coach does it for the same reasons. They take a greater and better opportunity. So yes, I understand the reasoning. Just because there's a reasoning for why they do it doesn't mean it's immune to any kind of criticism that comes with it. Just like the players, for instance, if the Buckeyes don't make the playoff and CJ Stroud opts out of the bowl game, and Kev, you could say that this is probably the biggest change in me from over the years. Okay. That's fine. It's a business. It's a reason. I'm going to criticize it. I'm going to say, okay, I think it's kind of, it's not, you're not being a good teammate at this point, but you're making the right decision for you.
Right.
And we all in life at times have to make the decision that's right for us. But it doesn't mean like if I make a selfish decision or Kev does, it doesn't make us immune to any criticism that would come with it. So that's all I'm trying to say about when it comes to this situation right now with Luke Fickle. That's fine. I get it. Big Ten, the NCAA, you have to strike while the iron's hot. You got to take it now because it won't be there tomorrow because the schools, they'll go hire someone that's less interesting than you just because they need to fill that position fast because of recruiting. I get it. There's all the reasonings out there. Doesn't mean they're immune to the criticism is all.
3 things for you. Alexa, what's the weather in Orlando?
Currently, in Orlando, Florida, it's 82 degrees.
Okay.
Yeah.
82. Okay, that's one.
Hey, Alexa, be quiet.
2, CJ Stroud all but announced that he's not playing in the bowl game unless it's the college football playoff on his press conference on Saturday after the game. Like, he all but announced it, just basically saying, hey, I know that people are going to say he never won a Big Ten championship. I know people are going to say he never beat that team up north. So he's going to have to deal with it and eat it and be a grown up about it. So he's telling everybody, hey, we don't play in the playoff. I ain't playing. I don't care if it's the Rose Bowl, Outback Bowl, Orange Bowl, Toilet Bowl, Wright State Bowl, UD Bowl. He ain't playing. So guess what? If Utah don't win on Friday night, we saw CJ Stroud for the very last time. Number 3, and this is a big if it comes out that Fickle told the guys, I'm taking this gig, would that change your opinion? Because my opinion about this stuff is the secrecy and the going up in front of the media and banging on the table. I'm not taking that job. I'm here for the long haul. I'm not here for the long haul. And then you see the plane tracker of his plane taking off and never coming back. That's kind of like what happened with Brian Kelly. So would that change or sway your opinion about Fickle's departure?
No, mainly because think of after the playoff, all the 4- and 5-star guys that he got, like Jackson McGowan and some of these, a local kid. I don't think he's a forward. Forget the star thing I said. But all these players jumped on the UC bandwagon, or at least they attached themselves to, obviously, Fickle at Cincinnati because of the success. And you mean to tell me in any of those conversations, not once was said, we're going to build something special. We're going to be a part of something special. Let's build this thing and take it into the college or take it into the Big 12. That's why Jackson McGowan and those guys all, committed to UC. They didn't, and I think sometimes when you're a coach like Fickle, you have to put things out there. Maybe you have to lie because, I said the same thing about Archie Miller. At a certain point when Archie was at Dayton, I'm like, is he almost going to hurt recruiting to a certain point? Because at a certain point, kids aren't dumb and the parents of these kids aren't dumb. They're telling their kids, hey, Archie Miller, he's doing some great things at Dayton, but I don't know if I'd commit there because he ain't going to be there very long.
Right.
That wasn't happening with Cincinnati. All the guys were committing to Cincinnati.
Right.
It's not like it cooled off. I would have understood it cooling off because, hey, he's not going to be there much longer. I'm not good as a 17, 18-year-old. He ain't going to be there. I'm going to go somewhere that's more stable. That wasn't the case. But maybe that answers your question. Maybe it didn't, but it'll be interesting to see how all that kind of pans out.
It's definitely going to pan out, and we're going to find out. I mean, early signing day is right around the corner, and it's a couple kids around this area that are currently committed to the Bearcats.
Jackson McGowan, by the way, shout out to him. He got an offer. Speaking of Brian Kelly, he got an offer from Brian Kelly and LSU that came out yesterday as well. So we'll see if Jackson McGowan goes from the Vikings to the Tigers and joins the family of Mr. Brian Kelly.
So let me ask you this. I don't know when's the last time this happened. I know it's definitely happened. I just have to Google it. If he finished out the season, says, you know what, I'm going to do both, much like offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators do, like Lanning, the head coach at Oregon. He finished out the season with Georgia last year as their DC in the semifinal and the championship game. If Coach Fickle would have finished out the season and then left, would there be an issue then?
Oh, no, none. It's just, to me, these bowl games, they're still part of the season. They may be meaningless from you're not really playing for anything, but if you're forcing these kids to still go to class to keep their, eligibility, to still show up to practice every day, to still do this, so now these kids, the entire roster, all these kids are now showing up to practice, preparing for the upcoming bowl game, and their head coach is just gone because he left somewhere else. But now whoever has to fill in the interim, obviously talking about Combs here, Kerry Combs.
A real interim.
Yeah, a real interim. Yes, Mikey. If you want a real definition of what an interim coach is, hopefully you're listening and take notes. But nonetheless. All right, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Let's keep in mind there is a coach that just announced that he is retiring. And he waited till after the season to do it. So, actually, Fickle's not retiring. But no, the news stunned me earlier in the week. Dayton Flyers, longtime head coach, or at least part of the program for almost 50 years, 48 years to be exact. Rick Chamberlain, longtime head coach of the Dayton Flyers. He has announced his retirement. He had a press conference earlier on today. Talked with him earlier in the week. Excited to have him on coming up. But yes, 48 years with the program during his playing days as an assistant coach and head coach. And they just came off of one heck of a season. By I think 1 point, they missed the playoffs. Kev. By 1 point, they had a very good year. They've had great players over the years. They, you know what I mean? Like between Troutman, remember having Troutman on the show after he got drafted by the Saints. I mean, I'm happy for obviously Coach Chamberlain announcing his retirement, but I hate to see him go. But I'm excited to welcome him onto the show on the other side. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Frickin' chicken chunks, frickin' chicken chunks, frickin' chicken chunks, frickin' chicken chunks.
When there's no time to make food for your holiday party, carry out 4 pounds of frickin' chicken chunks for only $34.99. Give the gift that always fits. A $25 Frickers gift card and get 5 frickin' bonus bucks free. Let them get what they really want.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Could you please pass the potatoes?
Uncle Bob, why are you singing?
With all the rewards we are getting, with the Navy Federal Credit Union's cash rewards card, I hired a singing coach for caroling.
But it's summer.
Since we get up to 1.75% cash back on all our holiday purchases, there is cheer to last all year.
Please stop.
These potatoes are delicious, by the way.
Get cheer to last all year with Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722. Or online at lanceroofing.com.
This is Doug Ute, Executive Director of the Ohio High School Athletic Association. High school coaches can be the biggest influence on kids having a positive experience in sports. Sports set the foundation for life lessons that remain long after playing days are over.
This is Gene Smith. Please join Life Sports at The Ohio State University and the Ohio High School Athletic Association as we partner with the Susan Crown Exchange on its Million Coaches Challenge. Get involved and learn more at go.osu.edu/CoachBeyond.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Yo, Pablo Torre here, host of the ESPN Daily Podcast. When you want to go beyond your feed, when you want to get inside the score, when you want to get behind the highlight, there's ESPN Daily. Go deeper into the stories of the moment. Get the exclusive access and insider perspective that only ESPN can give you. ESPN Daily, hosted by me, Pablo Torre. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
SimpliSafe was named the best home security of 2022 by U.S. News & World Report. But we don't do what we do for the accolades. We do it to protect you and everything you love. Our advanced sensors and HD cameras are powered by 24/7 professional monitoring for fast emergency dispatch. Visit simplysafe.com/holiday to get 40% off any new system today. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried New Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in 1 wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. Excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
Hiring is personal, but don't do it alone. With Indeed's end-to-end hiring solution, you can attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Justin Kinner back with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. We'll get back to your phone calls coming up here just around the corner. Excited to be hanging out with each and every one of you here on a Wednesday. So, at this time of the season, a lot of shocking headlines come out. Obviously Luke Fickle, leaving Cincinnati, taking the Wisconsin job. And then, of course, we're going to be hearing a lot of, hearing and seeing and coming across a lot of these moves and decisions, not just from coaches, but players as well. As the regular season officially wrapped up, conference championships coming up this weekend, the playoff selection Sunday. But on Monday, there was news that broke. Earlier in the week, news had broke about a coach retiring that really caught my attention and really surprised me. And I'm excited to have him on, who's been a guest of the show, in the past, going back to when the show was Kinner and Schlemmer. And Mark Schlemmer, rest in peace. I miss Schlemmer like you wouldn't believe. But some of my favorite days were when we would bring on our next guest, who we would just have tons of laughs with. But Dayton Flyers football coach, who's been involved in the program for 48 years, talking about, of course, Coach Rick Chamberlain, announced his retirement after 14 years as head coach with Dayton. He joins us now. Coach Chamberlin, welcome in, sir. I hope you are doing well.
I am, Justin. Thank you for allowing me to be on.
Absolutely. I just mentioned it. We used to have a lot of fun when you'd come on back when it was me and myself and Schlemmer. And of course, you going back to even the Schlemmer show on, back in the day as well. But man, I could just sit back and listen to you two go back and forth all the time. That was always a great time.
Oh, I tell you, Mark was one of my all-time favorites. Whenever he asked for me to be on, I jumped at it because I know I was going to have a good laugh. And everybody needs to laugh at least once a day, and Schlemmer could do that to you.
my favorite parts about those were, I know there's certain ways to interview coaches. And if there's if you're coming off of a tough loss and you don't play well, the last thing you do is you poke fun at the thing that you didn't do well. You'd give up 40 plus points in a game, and Schlemmer right away is poking fun at your defense. And I'm like freaking out because I didn't realize you guys had that relationship. I'm like, what are you doing? But
I know. And Schlemmer wouldn't hold back either. He'd go right at you there. But I have knew Mark for a long time. Of course, when he was the baseball coach here, and then afterwards and things, and we had a very good relationship. And like I said, he could get a laugh out of me, so I enjoyed those times.
Well, Coach, for one, congratulations on your retirement. I think that's how you said that, right? You congratulate people on their retirement. I'm a little bummed. I hate to see you go, but congratulations, though. A lot of coaches, they say you're hired to be fired, right? And it's always awesome when you get to spend as much time with the program that you love like you did, and you get to go out on your own terms. But what led to this decision, Coach? Was this a middle of the season, decision? Was it coming in knowing it'd be that? When did you really come upon this decision?
Well, I tell you, Justin, it was something that, as you get older, it's going to be coming. But I always tell recruits would ask me that. Families would ask me that because they should. And I always told them, I said, hey, as long as I felt like that I was doing the job right, I had the focus, the discipline, the energy to do it day by day, to keep Dayton at the standard that it needs to be. Then I'm going to do it. And so we're in the season there. And I just felt like as we were progressing along, no one particular game or day, I just evaluated things and just said, hey, I think that this is the time. And I've been in close contact with Neil Sullivan throughout my tenure here. We're very close. And after the season, we sat down and said, okay, this is it.
Coach, with that, being said 48 years, it's one thing to retire. You always feel good to retire, but to retire after being around a program for 48 years, going back to your playing days, being an assistant coach, including the years as a head coach, but just how much does that mean to you that the school that you played for, that you spent your entire career, that your entire football career is with this one program? Just how special is that to know that retiring a Flyer now, just how, the run that you had there, just how unique was that?
Well, I tell you, Justin, first of all, I'm a very lucky individual, a blessed individual to have been at the University of Dayton as a student athlete. And then to have Rick Carter and Mike Kelly come into my life and to give me opportunities to coach, and then to be able to stay at this place. Sure, there might have been other opportunities around, but when you looked at the big picture and the quality of life and the young men that you get to work with, things didn't compare to here at Dayton. And for the support of the administration and the community, it just made the perfect place for me.
Coach, have you heard from some of your former players? I'm sure you've heard from a long list of people, Adam Troutman, some of the other guys. I mean, how many of your players have just blown your phone up since this announcement?
Well, I haven't kept count, Justin. I can tell you my fingers are getting tired here trying to answer all of them. But that just shows you the commitment of our players, both present and former. They care about this program. It means something to them. And Adam there, he texted me yesterday and said, hey, Coach, I'm going to call you. And I knew he had other things to do. After the game, after this week, he's going to give me a call. I'd love to talk with him, but it means a lot to you. It really does that they care enough about the program to reach out to me and express their congratulations and their gratitude and everything, because I know this is coming sincerely from these young men, and that touches my heart.
Coach, my mom and my aunt retired from working 6 months apart, and they rekindled their sistership and just been doing a lot of traveling, a lot of hanging out and everything like that. What's your big plans for retirement? Hanging out with the family?
Well, and that's the usual answer, to be able to spend time with our sons. We got 2 sons and 6 grandchildren. They all live out of state. So that will give us time to do that. But also with retirement, I'll be able to really get more involved in our church ministries. Haven't been able to do that being a head coach, not as involved as I'd like sometimes. So that'll open up, and then we'll see. We'll just see what other things are out there in my future. And the good thing is I have options. I will. I'll have the ability to pick and choose exactly what I want to get done.
48 years to be involved with the program is a long time, Coach, from where it was when you started, just as a player to now, you announced your retirement as the head coach for over a decade plus, talking about 14 years. The program now compared to what it was when you started. Just talk about, you've seen so many changes in the growth of the program and just how do you look back at your time here?
Yep. I tell you, this program right now is 1,000 times better than when I came in 1975. Now, that doesn't mean they tried to give us the best that they could, but it's the evolution of sports and of training and of facilities and everything. But the University of Dayton, that's what I've always liked about them. They care about the student athletes here, and they are committed to make sure that our student athletes have everything they need to be successful. Like I said, whether it's facilities for training or for academic support or for community support, all those things, it has just grown and grown and grown until right now it's phenomenal. It is a top-notch football program along with the rest of the athletic department.
All right. Well, Coach, thank you so much. We had to make sure we got you on the show this week, and especially with how busy you've been. You did your press conference earlier today to make time for us. You have no idea how much that means to us. So thank you so much. If Ryan Day calls to see if you can help with that defense of theirs, it's good to know you might have some free time now.
Analyst.
Yeah.
Yes.
Justin, I was at that game.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep, I was at that game watching it, so I got to see it live and in person.
Oof.
Not a great day, but they'll bounce back. They'll be fine.
Well, Coach, thank you so much. Take care. Best of luck, and congratulations on what was an amazing career. And hopefully this is the last time we have you on. So thank you, sir.
All right, Justin. Thank you.
All right, good stuff. Rick Chamberlain, again, 48 years with the Dayton Flyers football program as a player, assistant coach, and head coach for 14 years. And he announced his retirement earlier in the week after that 48-year run. So I appreciate him taking time and hanging out with us here today. If you missed that interview or caught portions of it and want to go back to listen to the whole thing, we will have that on our YouTube channel, ESPN Dayton YouTube. Make sure you go and follow, subscribe the YouTube channel, of course, for ESPN Dayton. All shows in their entirety, select segments, and all interviews, including the one we just did there with Coach Chamberlain. But congratulations to him on the retirement. Very well deserved.
Yes, sir.
On top of that. All right, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We'll be right back in just a moment.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Justin Kinner back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Get ready, Ohio. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to the Buckeye State. And to kick things off, you can get started with $100 in free bets as an early sign-up bonus. Plus, when you sign up today, use my promo code Kinner, Kinner. Then you will be all set for when FanDuel goes live in Ohio. Then you can bet on all of your favorite teams and all of your favorite sports with $100 in free bets. I think that's pretty cool. All you got to do is download the app. When you register, you use my promo code Kinner, my last name, Kinner. And then you're going to have $100 in free bets waiting for you in your account when sports betting goes live here in the state of Ohio. Just download FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. It is safe, it is secure, and it is super easy to use. Come on, Dayton, this is your chance to get in on the action. Use my promo code Kinner when registering your account today, Kinner. You have $100 in free bets waiting for you. Come on, it's a heck of a deal. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Hi there, I'm your host, Dog, filling in for the human who's normally here and bringing you the smells and sounds of the holidays, courtesy of Beggin' Dog Treats.
We wish you a begging Christmas. We wish you a begging Christmas. Dog Quest, ye merry Doberman, let begging you acquire. Deck the halls with strips of begging. Arf, 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 arf.
Remember, for bacon-loving dog excitement this holiday,
It's begging!
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Dayton Flyers basketball fans, don't miss Talking Out Loud, presented by Timothy's Bar and Grill every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. with Sully. The #1 Dayton Flyers basketball podcast is now on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Game reactions and previews, interviews with UD Media, former players, and more can be heard every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. It's the Talking Out Loud Hour with Sully, presented by Timothy's Bar and Grill on 1410 ESPN Radio, Wednesday nights at 6. Wear red, be loud, go Flyers.
It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
KFC's famous bowl is just $5. Gift yourself a big bowl of flavor. Available in classic or spicy. That's finger licking good.
Again, one more time, congratulations. Rick Chamberlain, Dayton Flyers football coach, announced his retirement earlier in the week, had his press conference earlier today, addressed the media. Appreciate him doing that, taking time and hopping on with us a little bit ago. Dayton Flyers basketball, 7 o'clock to tip off tonight. They have Western Michigan coming back to the arena. They, this is a tough stretch for Dayton basketball right now because you knew all the buzz and the anticipation coming into the season. They dropped all 3 over in the Bahamas. The things went from bad to worse in that last game against BYU. Kobe Elvis goes down, and I believe that he's out for months. Malachi Smith again re-injuring that leg again, so they have no guards. That's the problem right now. They have no guards. I mean, you have Cher Jumps and obviously Brea hopefully is back tonight. I believe I need to go and make sure that that's actually the case, but this team's not in good shape right now. They're in good shape for Western Michigan coming to town, though. At the end of the day, you still have Kamara, you still have Deron Holmes, you still have some weapons. It's just I don't know how deep this team's not very deep right now, and I don't know how good this team is going to be moving forward. But I don't know. It could be another season where they're not dancing in March, but that's kind of a hot take for November. We'll see how this team gels.
You're gonna have all the wing players and big men you want. You need guard play. This is college basketball, man. You need guard play, and I'm not talking about guard play to drop 50 or anything like that, but ball handlers set you up, run your offense. I mean, we saw it last year in the A-10 tournament when the point guard went down, the offense just shut down. I mean, big men are getting position in the paint, but if you can't get them the ball to do their work, then they're no good to us. So, they need to get healthy, and that's the crazy part about health. You can't rush getting healthy. You only can get healthy when you get rest. So they're in a tough spot right now. So all you can do is just get through the rest of the non-con, and hopefully, you can be back at full strength for conference play.
Yeah, and they have Virginia Tech coming up around the corner as well. That's one of their next big non-con matchups. But their at-large chances are very slim because they don't have any quality wins right now in the non-con. And on top of that, the A-10 is bad. The A-10 is really bad right now. It's not I don't think it's strong enough, at least as of now. December, the conference can have a strong December and maybe change that. But for right now, the conference is not strong enough for them to be able to string together enough dominant wins to really have that resume. But we'll see what happens. It's going to come down to that one weekend. But they're, just like for Wright State and some others, it all comes down to that one weekend, to that 1 3-day stretch where it, whether or not you punch your ticket to the big dance or whatever. But there's still so much basketball left to be played over, obviously December, January, and February.
Yeah.
But that seems to be where it's kind of trending right now. How about tonight? Ohio State. We're talking so much about the football team losing to that team up north last week, but they got another big one. The basketball team that is on the hardwood tonight. They're at Cameron. They're at Duke tonight. A top 25 showdown. Ohio State, after their successful run in Maui, they got that big win over top 25 Texas Tech. They were able to pick up 2 or 3 wins while they were in Maui, and now they're sitting in the top 25. But again, that means nothing because one bad loss or a blowout and you're back out. Top 25 doesn't mean anything, but it does show again. Chris Holtmann with 3 freshmen, by the way. 4 freshmen are getting dominant minutes for that team. And for them to be where they're at, I think like 5-1 right now, and to be cruising the way that they are, they're a 5-point dog tonight at Cameron. But at Duke, this is a game I was at last year when it was at the Schottenstein, or is it still the Schottenstein?
Yeah.
Is it the Value City? I don't know what the heck they call it over there. Both. Yeah, typical. But nonetheless, that was a weird game. Ohio State beat Duke last year, but then they stormed the floor after. I didn't know how I felt about the storming of the floor. I mean, I guess it was Coach K's final season. It was very cool seeing Coach K at Duke or at Ohio State last year. That was pretty neat. Did you see that? So this Ohio State Duke matchup is the Big Ten ACC challenge. They're getting rid of the ACC Big Ten challenge, of course, with all the conference, not really realignment, but the media realignment with these teams. Now it sounds like it's going to be ACC, SEC. Challenge, and then the Big Ten.
I think it's Big 12. I think it's Big 12.
Has that been announced, or is that just being suggested?
Well, you know what? You got to be careful on Twitter nowadays because everybody's verified. So let me double check. The crazy thing about college basketball, I forget who it was. Was it? I think it was Baylor who went up like 10 spots in the polls. Like goodness. I mean, I know like Thanksgiving weekend, there's a ton of tournaments going on. So you're playing like 3 games in 4 days. So there was a lot of jumping around the polls this week. But yeah, to be ranked right now going into Cameron, they got a new coach. Buckeyes are 5-1. They're 6-2. It's a 7:00 tip, I believe. I'm definitely going to be watching the Buckeyes.
But I like that. By the way, I always looked forward to the ACC Big Ten Challenge. That was always cool. I always enjoyed watching North Carolina come to the shot, or Duke last year. I mean, that was the second time in the last 10 years that Duke had come to the shot. So I don't know how often those two teams will ever come across one another unless it's in the NCAA tournament, of course. But tonight's matchup, pretty interesting, pretty rare. You're not going to see Ohio State at Cameron anytime soon.
Yeah.
Maybe ever again. I mean, that's true. Maybe I'm being a little dramatic there, but it's true. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these matchups happen because of the challenge. That challenge no longer here, nonetheless. But Wright State will be back in action tomorrow. They had a good run at their Vegas 4, Kev. They took 2 or 3 as well, but they're sitting at 5-2. They have tomorrow Robert Morris at the Nutter Center. So they're back at home, but they've had a very hot start.
You know what? Wright State reminds me of Ohio State football. When do they play on the road? It seems like all their games have been at the Nutter Center outside of this Vegas situation.
No, usually, I mean, they got that written at Louisville, which everyone likes to jump on and say, oh, big deal. They haven't won a game yet. I don't care. You think that offends me? You think that offends that program? You know how tough it is to go against even the worst Power 5 team should still not have to fear about losing to teams out of the Horizon League. And that's just the reality of it. And for Wright State to do what they did, that's still a big deal. But, that loss against Davidson still stings to this point because, that team would be looked at very differently at this point. But no, it's right now, again, she's shaping up for conference play, conference time. So we'll see what happens.
For $1 American, what year was the first ACC Big Ten Challenge played?
1982.
Wrong.
I was just throwing out. I was gonna. My guess.
82.
I was gonna say my guess confidently and just hope that it was close, so I could sound like I know what the hell I'm talking about. What was it? 2000 what?
1999.
Damn it. So 2000. Like I said, 2000. 2000. All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. The college football playoff rankings came out last night. really no surprises. I was amazed at how many Bama fans were blowing up our page yesterday that Bama would be ranked ahead of Ohio State. I'm like, stop it. I was like, the only wild thing that could have happened was Ohio State still just only drops back to 4, but, they're at 5. That's what we thought. Your thoughts on TCU? We know Georgia and Michigan are locks, but the one take I'm starting to hear more of is that TCU is a lock as well, with the caveat being they don't have to win to still be in, but they just can't get blown out.
Right.
And I found that one to be, it's an interesting argument to have. And it led me to thinking at the same time, well, if a win, all that gets you is a Big 12 championship. And again, I don't know how much that means to them. The playoff is what means more to. Playing for a Big 12 championship, an opportunity to win it, is the opportunity to win the Big 12 championship more important than getting to the college football playoff? We've never seen it done before, but I would love to see a team say, we'll pass playing in our conference championship game, because that's the only thing that USC, right now when those rankings came out last night, the only thing that they're risking on Saturday and Friday is not making the playoff. I don't know. We'll talk about it. 518-1410. Just think about it during this commercial break. But, if I'm TCU, why are you playing in this game on Saturday? I would opt out. If I'm Michigan and Georgia, I opt out. I don't need to play. If you're in no matter what, this is all that matters. Why are you playing in it? I wouldn't play. I would rest guys. I wouldn't give. There's a lot of money in it. Not my problem. Not a lot of money spent by me. All I'm saying is these conference championship games mean absolutely nothing for some teams. And if anything, they're an even bigger risk for programs like USC and obviously, with Texas. Why am I TCU? Sorry, I'm losing my dang mind. I'm talking too much at this point. But let's talk about it. 518-1410 or jump in on the chat live on Facebook, the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. We'll be right back.
Would you like to save hundreds of dollars on your real estate taxes? Celebrate the holidays with the gift of a lower tax bill. This is Montgomery County Auditor Carl Keith, and if you're a homeowner age 65 or older, or you are permanently and totally disabled, you could be eligible for the homestead exemption. To find out if you qualify, call my homestead hotline at 937-225-4341. The deadline to apply for this tax break is December 31st. But if you are already enrolled, you do not need to reapply. New applicants are subject to an income test. Visit our website for more information at mcauditor.org or call 937-225-4341. That hotline number again is 937-225-4341. And remember, the deadline to apply is December 31st. This is Auditor Carl Keith wishing you and your homestead the best this holiday season.
Craftsman Days at Lowe's are going on now. Get limited time savings across the store like $100 off a V20 6-tool combo kit. Plus, enter the Craftsman Days Ultimate Garage Sweepstakes for a chance to win Craftsman products valued at over $10,000. Learn more at Lowe's.com/Ultimate Garage. Offer valid through 12/31 while supplies last. No purchase necessary. Ends 12/31. Residents of 50 USDC, 18 or older, and age of majority, and have a Lowe's.com account. Void where prohibited. See rules at Lowe's.com/Ultimate Garage for entry instructions, odd prices, etc. Sponsor Lowe's.
Missed Black Friday? Dell's Cyber Monday event starts now with deals on powerful business tech. The savings start now with up to 50% off on select business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping on everything and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for Cyber Monday deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
This is Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Tomorrow.
Educators who worked private sector jobs before becoming public employees and those who are counting on survivor benefits from a spouse who worked a private sector job are getting shortchanged. The government pension offset and windfall elimination provision mean these educators get a fraction of the Social Security benefits they should. Tell Congress it's time to change the law now.
Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Are you suffering from chronic joint pain like Heather? So I have terrible arthritis and have had it for quite a while. And I've gone to all kinds of doctors trying to figure out what to do. And everybody just said surgery. And surgery was months of rehab. And I didn't want to do that.
But then Heather discovered QC Kinetics, local medical professionals who specialize in natural biologic treatments, non-invasive solutions designed to repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. And she absolutely loves the results.
I like to tell anybody who's suffering that there are options that are not steroids, that are not surgery. You owe it to yourself to find out about QC Kinetics and find out what they can do for you.
No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Discover QC Kinetics and learn more about natural biologic treatments with lasting results.
Call QC Kinetics 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics 937-936-0325.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, back with you here, 1410 ESPN Radio, the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Georgia 1, Michigan 2, TCU 3, USC 4. USC, they have their Pac-12 championship game coming up against Utah this weekend. TCU at number 3. They have the Big 12 championship game. They have that against Kansas State. Both teams favored in their matchups, with both teams favored by less than a field goal at this moment. So, it's going to be two very, tight games.
Tight.
But the thing that fascinates me, and I get it, Ohio State has a chance at making the playoff, and they're not playing this weekend. And the other two teams, talking about TCU and USC, they're in the playoff as of right now, and the only thing that they can get out of this weekend is winning your conference championship or missing the playoff. And my thing is are there any ramifications for a program just coming out and saying, after last night's rankings came out, looking at the committee and saying, you know what, we're going to pass on our conference championship? We're going to pass on our conference championship. The fact that, and I get this argument. I've heard a lot of stupid arguments as to why Ohio State should not have a chance to get into the playoff. They're all horrible, except this one. How can they make why should the teams playing this weekend get punished while Ohio State sits at home and they have a chance to make it by not doing anything this weekend? And I 1,000,000,000% agree. There's a lot of flaws with this playoff format.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as a bulletproof, mistake-free scheme to get this done. This is one of the bigger issues I have with it that I agree with people 100% on. Ohio State just gets to sit back and watch two teams compete for a conference championship this weekend. And if one of them loses, they get to hoist up a trophy that actually matters. And that's not a conference championship. That is the playoff championship or a playoff appearance or whatever.
Get the opportunity, yeah.
So you got to ask the risk reward this weekend for TCU is what? The risk is we lose and don't make the playoff, or we win and we're conference championships and we're in the playoff. There's only one thing you could do this weekend, and that is lose everything. You're winning a conference champion. You're already in the playoff. They already announced tonight or last night, you're in the playoff. There's part of me when we talk about chaos, not just the results on the field, but I would just love if TCU or USC just says, we're going to opt out of our conference championship game this weekend. What's stopping teams from doing that other than a lot of backlash? But it's no worse than the backlash that coaches and programs get for not making the playoff. I'm sorry. I just think it's stupid to play in these. That's why I hate when people say you just take the conference champions from every conference and put them in. Stop. These conference championships don't mean anything. Hell, we're not even seeing. Look, if the Big Ten did it right, we'd be seeing Ohio State, Michigan again, because the two best teams in the Big Ten just went head-to-head last weekend. Why is Purdue even in the Big Ten championship game? It's because it's a poorly run conference. Yeah, that too. But to be fair, you did call it. And I wasn't against it. I was like, oh, Purdue's going to be a very good football team, but we just thought we'd be seeing a better version of Purdue,
Right.
as not the, well, someone has to be in it type of thing.
8-4.
Yeah, but your thoughts? I mean, I think teams should opt out.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We can't say on one hand, 6-7 years ago that the Big 12 was left out of the playoff because they didn't have a conference championship game. Then they get a conference championship game, and then we're not going to play in said championship game after the committee. So basically punish them for not having one. And if I'm TCU, you really want to play that game? You really want to play that game? You want to play a staring contest with the committee and not play in this game and not win this game? They've already put in Ohio State over you once before. So you go and not play this game and take a forfeit, they're definitely going to put in Ohio State over you, 100%. TCU, I'm not sure if they necessarily have to win this game to be in a playoff, but to make sure you're in it, you go win it. I love that at this juncture of the season, they start showing strength of schedule. And like I keep trying to tell people, and I was telling people on the show yesterday, we can talk till we're blue in the face about, oh, this team ain't no good, this team ain't no good, that team sucks, this team sucks, oh, they didn't play anybody. Well, based off of what the committee said, TCU has a pretty high strength of schedule. So we can say, no, they don't, no, they don't, no, they don't. Well, according to the people that vote, they do. So we just have to accept that. And just because the brand name is TCU and not Texas or Oklahoma, because if it was vice versa, we wouldn't be saying anything about, oh, they don't play anybody. We're simply saying it because they're the Horned Frogs as opposed to the Longhorns. As for USC, they definitely have to win this ball game to punch their ticket to the college football playoff, because in their bylaws, it says a non-conference champion has to be unequivocally better than a non-conference champion. So it will get down to Ohio State and USC, and then they'll say, well, USC has 2 losses, Ohio State has 1, they're in. So these are not stare-offs that I will be willing to go into if I'm a USC or a TCU, based off the brand power of Ohio State and based off of all the numbers that they ran yesterday and showed us that, like, oh man, TCU does have a pretty good strength of schedule. So does USC. So we probably need to go ahead and win these games to punch our ticket. And people, I know we have friends here at the station that don't like the term backing into the playoff. Look, man, if Ohio State gets into the playoff, it's a 100% back into the playoff. You back in when you don't control your own destiny. Those teams, USC and TCU, they control their own destiny because they've won enough to get in there. Ohio State has not. So if Ohio State gets in there, it is a back end. And guess what? I'll be happy nonetheless.
Yeah, I just, like I said at the end, and by the way, 518-1410 thoughts. And by the way, I get it. They are contractually obligated to play. I get that. And I get that as a program, you don't want to risk not playing and getting into a weird contest with the committee where if you try to show up the committee, you think they're going to do you any favors? Absolutely not. But I think this is a system that is flawed. And by the way, I'm all about the 14 playoff. Okay. I'm just saying the playoff college postseasons are all flawed. There's no such thing as a bulletproof one, as I've said earlier. But at the end of the day, I think it's wrong that the rankings came out last night. The regular season's over. That was the final poll to come out after the regular season, or the first poll to come out after the regular season. The only other games to be played are conference championship games. So to me, at the end of the day, this really comes down to Ohio State is actually in better position. I think that they're more comfortable being in the position they're in than USC or TCU. Do you disagree? I know that you're saying they're controlling their destiny, but
I would much rather control my destiny
to a team you've already lost to.
Yeah. TCU's beat K-State and USC has lost to Utah. If I'm Ohio State, I'd much rather be playing this weekend in Indianapolis, controlling my own destiny, as opposed to sitting on the sidelines, waiting and praying because I have no control over it at all.
Because we're used to watching them have to play some Northwestern or crap team out of
or
let's say like if it was Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah, I would much rather be playing than not playing. Much rather.
You see, my point though is, well, I think you do see my point. My main point is if I'm USC or TCU, I'm annoyed as hell. Like you guys said last night, this is why the committee should have put Ohio State at 4 to really put the emphasis on the conference championship game this weekend. They should have put Ohio State at 4 so that if USC, they're playing for something to get in, or tell TCU, you got to win this weekend to get in. But you've already told USC and TCU, hey, we think you're better than Ohio State. We think what you've done already to this point, you're better than Ohio State. So now we've already rewarding you by putting you in the second to final poll. So we're telling you you're better than Ohio State. And now you get to play a game this weekend that if you lose, now you're no longer better than Ohio State. 12 games in, you're better than Ohio State. But 13 games in, Ohio State's now better than you. That's the problem I have with the format of this. This is why if I'm these teams, I say, nah, I'm good. I'm not going to play this weekend. Or, hey, you know what? All of our starters, we got COVID, so we're just not going to play this weekend. Like,
I don't believe you, Justin. I'm keeping it real. I don't believe you. If these teams backed out, you would be on this microphone saying you don't have a competitive bone in your body.
No, it's very competitive. I want to compete in the playoff. I don't want to compete in some meaningless bowl game that the conference makes millions off of that we don't. So I don't know.
I'm not buying it. I don't believe you. I got to be 100% with you, dog.
I think the people are going to agree with me today more than you.
I doubt it.
We have what?
We're full. Yeah, we're full. We're going to go to Mark and Tip City on line 1.
All right. Mark and Tip, welcome in, sir. Team Kev or Team Kenner? You're probably Team Kev, but you might agree with me. What you got, Mark?
All I'm going to say is give it to him, Kev. But in this case, I'm agreeing with my boy Justin.
Oh,
ring the bell.
If you, all right, there isn't one of these 4 teams that are in the playoffs that want any part of playing in this game. They don't even want to be there. And here's the situation. What happens if Georgia plays LSU and Stetson Bennett breaks his collarbone? What happens if McCarthy?
They're rolling their 5-star quarterback as opposed to their walk-on quarterback.
These teams don't want to be on these fields for these conference championship games. It's all about money. And the other point is, if you were to ask Ohio State this question, would you rather A, win the national championship, beat Michigan, or win your conference tournament? What order do you think that Ryan Day would answer that in?
Natty.
I know which one he better answer that in.
Natty, Michigan. I guess some. Well, you tell me what the order is.
Well, first of all, you better damn well beat Michigan. That game means a lot, and obviously win the Natty. But Justin's right. Ohio State has the opportunity to sit back and possibly get in by not playing. So the advantage is to not play in it. And it doesn't happen every year that way, but in this case, it's happening. And the other thing
to
is,
let somebody else control your destiny as opposed to you controlling your destiny. I just can't. I just don't understand that. Hoping and praying somebody else does something for you as opposed to going to do it yourself.
Kev, I agree with you. If you're a competitor, you want to compete and win, but it's not like Ohio State planned it that way. But the thing is, the committee has proven before you don't need to play in one of these conference tournaments or your conference championship game to get in. Notre Dame, Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Scarlet and Gray, but we got in a couple years ago, didn't play in our conference championship.
And Ohio State got in one time by playing in it.
That's correct, Kev. They did. But it's all about money. But if you're already in, which I believe obviously Georgia and Michigan are, why risk an injury? If I was Georgia, I would set every single starter. If I was Michigan, I'd do the same thing. And if we lose it, so what? We're going to play for the Natty. I would love to see the teams.
Oh, man.
I would love to see the teams send a message to the NCAA that, look, well, like Kev, I agree with you, Kev, to some point, but what if Bennett goes out there in the first series and gets blindsided and he goes into concussion protocol? I mean, you got the national championship game coming up and our quarterback's injured because he played in a game that we don't even need to play. Eliminate these games.
Mark, do you have kids?
I have one daughter who is grown.
Okay, if she was
really smart,
if she was like her dad, if she was running track and field and something like that, and she was already qualified for the final, and there was one more race to run, you're not going to encourage her to finish it out?
I don't know if too many track and field athletes get blindsided by 200.
They can pull a hammy. They can pull a hammy. They can stub their toe.
You have to watch out for that stray javelin or that shot put.
Hey, man, I've seen a couple kids get beamed with that. One of my best friends used to throw the discus, and he hit somebody at a track meet before. Goodness gracious!
I'm gonna leave you with two things. You've got to Google where the official gets stuck with the javelin. Did you ever see that on YouTube?
I love seeing people get hurt. That's like one of my favorite pastimes.
And the other one is the accountant in New Carlisle, Mike Maxwell.
Yes.
Good pitch for him. Good pitch for him yesterday. He does my taxes. The guy's awesome.
Oh, no kidding. He's going to love this, by the way. They are going to love this.
You put him in a room with JK, and I don't know who gets the word in edgewise on the other. I'd like to just see a battle of the words right there between those two cats. But Mike is a good accountant. He does a good job for me.
I'll make sure he hears this.
Boys.
Hey, thank you, man. Take care.
Bucks.
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
Exactly.
I'm watching it right now. He got stabbed right in the gut with the javelin. Goodness gracious.
The guy that got hit with the javelin. Bigger guy or smaller guy?
Small dude.
Oh, see, I'd be fine.
You're like my brother.
Yeah. So anyways, if you're just joining us, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. And by the way, Kev, I mean, I swear, Shaw just first of all, he goes, I agree. Not sure what that's about, but he disagrees. Let me make sure everyone
with who?
With me, of course.
Okay, good. So that's one for me. One for you, one for me.
I agree. They want to win a conference championship. You want to win the game because if you're going to be out there playing, you want to win it. But I think if you got an honest answer from these coaches, they're all going to tell you, I think it's stupid that we have to play in this and risk not making the playoff when the committee already said we're better than Ohio State. In Ohio State, they can't do anything this weekend to be better or worse than us. They've already told us we're better, but the only thing we can do something this weekend that'll make them view us as worse than Ohio State. That's the problem. David Shaw says, no, Justin isn't right. As a competitor, you want to play the game. No, as a competitor, you want to play in the games that matter, which are the college football playoff, because that's what you play for. You play to make the playoff. You play to win the national championship. Let's see. Shaw goes on to say, if Michigan sits everyone, I'll be pissed. I want a conference championship. Okay, buddy. I mean, to be fair, up until last year, playoffs were never really your thing anyway. So I get why you would say that.
Okay.
518-1410. Now, in all seriousness, though, conference championships this weekend, TCU and, USC. The committee's already said they're better. TCU's number 3. USC's 4. Ohio State's 5. And all those teams have to play a game this weekend. Ohio State gets to sit at home. And if one of those two teams loses, Ohio State gets the benefit of being slid right in, as you say, backdoors their way into the playoff. And USC and TCU, 12 games in, the same 12 that Ohio State has played, they've already proven in the equal amount of games that Ohio State has played that they are better than them. And now because they get to play that extra game, they're going to have that one game be held against them. That's the concern I have as far as that's concerned. But Kev, who's up next?
We got Jeff line 2.
Jeff, welcome, sir. How are you?
Justin, Kev, how are you guys?
Good.
Not too bad, sir. How are you? Before you answer us, how are you?
I've actually been miserable since Saturday afternoon about 3:30.
That makes 3 of us.
It's just I haven't got over it yet. I think I could have chewed through a nail and spit it out on somebody. And
yikes.
I want to know what you guys think. What in the HE-double-L happened?
Well, real quick, we've spent 2 days on that, Jeff. Have you, real quick, your thoughts on what we're talking about real quick? I'm just curious, trying to gauge people's take on this first.
Okay. I've got to take on that.
Yeah, let's hear that first.
I'm worried because I think one of those two teams is going to lose.
Let's hope so.
Very easily beat TCU. Very easily.
No,
and Utah's already beaten USC.
Nope. And Jeff, thank you for the call. But like, I think the thing is yes, we get all that. It's not your thoughts on what you think of those matchups. Those matchups are going to be, Vegas is telling us they're less than 3-point favorites.
3-point lines.
So these are going to be 2 tightly contested games. If let's say it came down to Michigan this weekend, if Michigan had to beat Purdue to get into the playoff, okay, they're fine because it's Purdue and they're like a 16-point favorite, all that. I would feel good if I'm them. I'm uncomfortable if I'm USC. They see the rankings last night. USC's like, great. Finally, we get into the top 4. But now we got to go face a team we've already lost to this year, and we're only a 2.5-point favorite. And now you're saying, well, the competitor and you go win.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. I get that. But it's just they have to go out there for 4 additional quarters than everyone else, and those 4 additional quarters dictate whether they get in or not. That's the problem I have.
Well, and the flip side of that is, well, welcome to the party, Pac-12.
Or real quick, continue your point.
Welcome to the party. They, like it or not, I know we're in Big Ten country, and then we got a lot of SEC people out there, but on paper, from everything the committee has shown us and all the numbers, that the Pac-12 has been the most competitive conference. I didn't say the best. It's been the most competitive. And I know we'll have a whole bunch of people that are trying to tell you that Illinois is great, and some people that try to tell you, hey, man, Vanderbilt's a real slept-on team out there, and so is Rutgers. But the fact of the matter is the Pac-12 has been the most competitive conference this season. So they're going to go up against a tough opponent in Utah. You and I both had a lot of respect for Utah going to the season. They lost their first game to Florida, yada, yada, yada. They lost 2 other games in conference play. They're 9-3 right now. They're going to be playing USC in a conference championship game. This is not an easy rollover because, it's funny because they're not – this shows how good Utah is. They're 9-3. Everybody's expecting like, oh, man, it can go either way. You go look at Michigan, who's playing Purdue, who is 8-4. Nobody thinks Purdue's going to win, even though Brian Brom is 3-0 versus top 5 ranked teams in his career.
Shaw. Michigan.
Just a little heads up. One of those victories.
I'm all about boiler up this week. I don't care
if I remember, it's the game that you went to. Thanks, Justin. Over Ohio State, they also beat Michigan State when they were like 3, and they beat the great Iowa team when they were number 2. So. Yeah, so just a little FYI. But, like, you see the variation. They're 9-3. Purdue is only one less game than them, and nobody's expecting Purdue to even put up a fight versus that team up north.
Yeah, everyone out there says, the playoff, the conference champion should mean something. On the opposite. I think last night's poll should have been the final one. Last night should have been here's your playoff team.
So no more conference championship.
I'd say no more. That's not going to happen because they have too much money invested into it. Or you still play them. But then you're going to say, well, what are you playing for? My point exactly. So are you saying that conference championships matter because the playoffs are on the line? Well, then if I'm the ACC, don't play one this weekend. What's the point of the ACC championship game this weekend? There's nothing.
To crown the champion of the ACC?
So my point is that then the conference championship should not be used to dictate who gets into the playoff then. Everyone wants to make it about that. I say go step backwards. Don't make it.
Well, I think
a lot of conferences play them and they play for nothing anyways. The MAC, there's a MAC championship. They're not playing for anything other than the MAC championship.
I think there's 2 ways to look at it. There's obviously your way, and then the other way is the opportunity. I think it's just a case where in this situation where you have a Georgia who probably is going to make it in, a Michigan who's probably going to make it in, win, lose, or draw, and there's a debate about TCU, win, lose, or draw about them. But we've seen cases where another team is able to pick up another quality win to play themselves into the tournament. That being one of those, the most obvious for us here is Ohio State.
You get 12 games. You get 12 games to figure it out. You don't
so Ohio State shouldn't have made it that year?
I mean, based on those rules that year, whatever, I don't care. I mean, look, I'm not like this year. This is why I'm trying to be. This is why I'm not. It's an unbiased take of mine. If I'm biased, I'm not having this take because the current model benefits me as a Buckeye fan. Because Ohio State's probably going to get in this weekend.
Let's hope so.
I'm just looking at it from a perspective of these conference championships are hurting the teams that are already in the playoff. If we sit here today, but 518-1410, Kev, who we got next?
We got Matt, line 3.
All right, Matt, you are up, sir. Welcome.
Hey, how are you? Ring the bell like 3 times for Kevin because this is ridiculous. First of all, if you have your own destiny in front of you, like USC, for instance, that's the position you want to be in. USC and TCU I view differently. USC lost to Utah, right? And that's who they play in the Pac-12. Was it at home or away?
It was at Utah.
Yeah. So USC this year has the opportunity. The conference championship game will help them. Some years it won't. Some years it will. But
help them what? They're already in. They're already number 4.
But
help them what?
These aren't the final rankings.
No. If TCU loses, that's a different story. But USC.
Matt, you hung up on yourself.
Justin
didn't do that.
That's what you get
for
saying dumb things like, ring the bell 3 times for Kevin. No. Why
Ring
do
it
they,
for me.
Ring it for you.
For what?
He's agreeing with you. He doesn't know. What the bell means.
Okay. About
Go
to
ahead,
say.
ring it for you. He said 3 times. Ring it 3 times for you.
No, that's not what that bell means, Matt. The bell means excuses.
Well, the bell's like these conference championship games. They don't mean anything. So just ring it. Just change the rules as we go.
No.
Damn.
Rules are rules.
Damon Hahn says Juanton Kinner is wrong. I don't know when I got an A in my name, but there you go.
3-1 me. By the way.
Juanton Kinner is wrong.
3-1 me.
I whatever. This is kind of like my take with the first 4, like last year. Wright State shouldn't have had to play their way into the NCAA tournament. They're not playing their way into any tournament. They won their conference. They're already in the tournament. You don't play into a tournament you're already in. The committee already said 12 games in, USC, TCU, you're better than Ohio State. That's why one's at 3, one's at 4. Now go play a game, and if you win, you get to hold it. If you don't, you get to sit at home. Well, what's Ohio State have to do? They just have to sit there and hope that you lose it. I just think it's wrong. They have to play an extra game. They have more to lose.
These aren't the final rankings.
They should be. That's my whole point. My point is they should be the final rankings. I think it's dumb to have another ranking after this.
So did you think it was dumb when Ohio State played their way in?
No, as a fan, I enjoyed Ohio State getting in. I still thought it was stupid how that was set up. I understood what people were talking about.
That is not the truth, Justin. We were in these hallways arguing about it, about TCU getting jumped by Ohio State, and you were like, they should have had a conference championship game.
No, they should, based on what the committee was saying. But I also think that's dumb too, because then since then they've let Notre Dame in twice, and they don't play in hell. Notre Dame made it one. They've made it twice. Notre Dame made it one time, not winning a conference championship, just remaining undefeated. Then the second time they made it, it was the year that the ACC bailed those losers out and put them in the conference. Then they made the ACC championship game, got their ass kicked in the ACC championship game, and still made the college football playoff. Like, they've been challenging the committee's mindset. The committee doesn't even take these conference championships serious. They walk it back whenever they feel like.
I agree.
Who's next?
Kev's right, by the way.
We're tied. We're tied at 1 apiece.
No, that is 3-1, by the way.
How's it 3-1?
I just gave you all the people that voted for me. I'm sorry. Line
We've taken
2.
2 calls.
And Shaw chimed in. Line 2 with Chris. That's going to help you out.
Chris, what up, sir?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
I see where you're coming from, and I agree with you to a point, because unless the playoff field's expanded, the conference game shouldn't mean as much. Because then, if we had 8 or 10 teams, then you can have that large bid and stuff. But right now, in my opinion, it does seem like, I know I hate to say it, but the overall bias towards SEC, because SEC's had 1 or 2 years that there's been 2 SEC teams in the top 4, and one of them lose the conference game? Wasn't it Alabama or something? I think
Can you ask that again? Re-ask that. Just
Georgia lost the SEC championship game and made it. Well,
to Alabama.
Well, and not only that, but the rivalry games at the end of the year.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, I love it. I love the tradition of it, but it does hurt Ohio State and teams like that because they play at the end of the year. USC's loss came at the beginning. In 2014, when Ohio State lost to Virginia Tech and had time to get that back and get into the playoff. I would love to see 2 Big Ten teams, but every SEC homer and Feinbaum and all them people are going to be, Ohio State back in. They didn't really truly deserve it. But if it's Ohio State-Michigan national title game like it was an SEC title game, imagine the uproar of that. And like you said, it's all about the money, the revenue, the TV, the deals, everything else. It's all about college football season, adding more games, being able to do that. That's what it's there for. But I honestly believe even if we do expand, I'd like to see an expanded team instead of the championship game, because you can't have 20 games in college football with an expanded playoff and having the conference game. But you need to have something for it. But it's just going to bring up a bigger debate, because then it's going to be, we're talking about 5 or 6. Well, if we have expanded, then it's going to be teams 9 and 10. And that's where I go with it.
All right, so Chris, the important thing. Hashtag
What's
Team
the
Kev,
important thing?
hashtag Team Kenner. Who's right?
Who's right?
Yes, whose side are you taking in this
Brown,
debate?
I'm right. None of you guys are right.
Hey,
It's
no.
Chris Brown.
Hey,
I'm right.
focus. Listen, hey, over here. Which side are you taking on this? Who do you agree with more?
I'm taking Team Kenner.
Yes. All right, Chris Brown, you're the best. I appreciate you.
All right, have a good night, guys.
Good stuff. Kenner takes a 2-1 lead.
Wrong again.
Just on the calls. We're only counting calls. Just like the playoffs, I make up my own damn rules as we go.
I will say I understand what Chris is talking about, especially from the rivalry standpoint. And this is just a wonky thing about college football. The SEC and ACC, all those teams play the last game of the season. Florida plays Florida State, Georgia plays Georgia Tech, Clemson plays South Carolina, Kentucky plays Louisville, on and on and on and on and on. Like that's when the sport was very regionalized.
Yep.
And obviously Ohio State, and well, not Ohio State, but the Big Ten does their schedule back end. You play all your non-com before October, and then after October, it's all conference games. So it's just a matter of taste. And, you know, I do get irritated when people talk about like, oh, man, they play those cupcake games at the back end of the year. Like, well, your cupcake game, quote unquote, was earlier in the year, and they have to play a rival at the end of the year. So it all, to me, the schedule stuff kind of really balances out. And I'll say this for the umpteenth time, I don't really necessarily believe in the SEC bias. I believe in brand bias. There is a brand bias out there. So I don't necessarily think that like there's like nobody's out there waving the, I don't know, freaking Vanderbilt flag saying they're the best thing since sliced bread and they're in the SEC. Like nobody's doing that. And just like nobody's out here saying, oh man, the Big Ten is the best, man. You better watch out for Rutgers, man. They sneak up on you. Nobody's saying that. So I think it's a brand bias more than, you know, SEC bias.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. If your comments in Facebook, it don't count because you have to call it. That's the right now. Kinner has a 2-1 lead over Kev Nash.
2-1.
I say if you're the USC or TCU,
if we were just simply doing calls, it would be 2-2.
No, we've taken 3 calls. Jeff doesn't count. He didn't give an answer.
Yes, he did.
What did he say?
He said Kev. We took Mark, Jeff.
No, I hung up on Jeff because he was talking about stuff that had nothing to do with what we were talking about.
He said we took Mark, Jeff, Matt, and Chris.
Fine. I'll give you Jeff. So now we're tied at 2. So let's do one more tiebreaker before going into the commercial break. Kev, who we got?
We have Shaw.
Nope. All right. So we'll be right back.
He already made his point online.
No, he's Shaw don't count because the thing is, I could say, you know what? If there's a house on fire with a bunch of babies inside, we should go in and save it.
Kinner,
and Shaw would say, no, don't go save the babies because Kinner said to go save it. That's what Shaw does. He doesn't care. He doesn't have a brain that works properly, so it's wired to say the opposite of anything that I say. There's just no way. No way I'm going to count Shaw.
Breaking news. Ohio State wide receiver coach Brian Hartline interviewing to become the head coach at UC.
Interesting. Now where are we going to get our wide receivers?
Rather have Deion.
That's what I agree with you. We'll be right back. I agree with you. On this, though. On that, though.
Finally.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Your weather forecast. Today, a mix of sun and clouds, high of 36. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 22 degrees. And for tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies with a high of 39. I'm Eddie Zellick for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Frickin' chicken chunks, frickin' chicken chunks, frickin' chicken chunks, frickin' chicken chunks.
When there's no time to make food for your holiday party, carry out 4 pounds of frickin' chicken chunks for only $34.99.
$5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a long-term contract to get access. Well, not anymore, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide with deals like our Silver Unlimited plan for just $45 a month and no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A13 5G for $149, all on a reliable 5G network. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. 1 month equals 30 days. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Hi, my name is Jackie, and a little thing that I love about the Chick-fil-A peppermint chip milkshake is the whipped cream and the cherry on top. It's like a little bow on top of this great present of peppermint chip goodness. It tastes like the holidays.
Hey, my name is Chandler, and the little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A peppermint chip milkshake is the little pieces of the peppermint that you get. For me, no milkshake is topping the peppermint chip milkshake.
Order a Chick-fil-A peppermint chip milkshake on the Chick-fil-A app today. Available for a limited time. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
I'll second guest dinners with friends because they can be interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit creoninfo.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
KFC's famous bowl is just $5. Gift yourself a big bowl of flavor. Available in classic or spicy. That's finger licking good.
Hungry for a great time? Maybe some great food? Then come on down to your neighborhood Submarine House. Try our Philly cheesesteaks, our oven-toasted deli subs, our mouth-watering salads, pizzas, appetizers, and more. And wash them down with a unique selection of craft beers while watching the big game on our big screens. With locations around Dayton, in Columbus, and our newest sports bar in Kettering, you're never far from a Submarine House. Subs, sports, spirits. Submarine House.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you have to drive 300 miles to your cousin's wedding. Okay, so it's his fourth. But you know what they say, fourth time's the charm. Well, here's the problem. Your tires are as bald as I am. But lucky for you, eBay Motors has tires for just about every make and model. Plus wheels, lug nuts, jack stands, and more. 122 million parts. Do they have tissues? Oh, good, because I'm definitely a crier. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Sure, we have 30 seconds to tell you that drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. But then what? Well, radio has been called theater of the mind. So let's tell a story with sound effects. Wow, it's like I was in the story. Almost makes me forget this was supposed to be about saving big with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Down the sideline to the 10 and drags a defender in the end zone for a touchdown. Jackson Smith and Jigba. A 50-yard scoring strike from C.J. Stroud. He'll hit the Purdue 40. Down the left side to the 30. Henderson to the 20 to the 10. And into the end zone goes Henderson.
Don't miss the Buckeyes all season long. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio and on 92.9 Jack FM. Go Bucks. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here. No, you're good on 1410 ESPN Radio. I want to give a shout out. Jeez. Go ahead, air it. Play it.
Yeah, it's clean. It's clean. So my favorite social media platform is Instagram. I just love it. So
I get the reels, no matter if it's Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, whatever. It's all the same. It's a lot of recycled stuff.
Yeah.
What'd you find?
Oh, this.
I haven't had no sex. Jesus. That's Kev, y'all. That was Kev. You know, the hooligan of the group.
So it's this lady at church, and she just catches the Holy Ghost.
You just say whatever the hell comes to your mind when you're up there, huh? And she just said, I haven't had no sex. That's all she just yells. Let me guess. Is it in Xenia? Is that church in Xenia?
No.
Oh.
Looks like it's Atlanta.
Sounds like a Xenia story.
My side, man.
my side, never mind. I was trying to give a shout out to our friend. I don't know how you go from
I haven't had no sex.
What the hell's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Oh God, this is the most crazy you've ever been on the show right now. I'm not gonna lie, this is as close to the edge as I've seen you go.
I'm about to literally start crying, dude.
I mean, that's a weird rabbit hole to go. I don't know how you come across that. Like, what do you search to get to that?
The algorithms got me, man. You know, I like your algorithms got you about
anything. What else you're looking at? Like, clearly, this dude. It's been a while. I'm just saying. Wow. So,
oh goodness, this is a sports show.
Let's regather. So, our good friend Jason Fitz, who has been coming on the show for years with us now, he is now going to be heard weekdays from noon to 3.
Nice.
It'll be Fitz and Harry from 12 to 3. Don't have the official start date yet on ESPN Radio, but that is pretty damn cool. Excited. Congratulations to Jason Fitz. As again, he'll be hosting weekdays from 12 noon to 3 p.m., leading right into our show. So that's pretty exciting.
Hear that, Shaw? Your buddy.
Yeah. I mean, the point is right there. When you have, we have takes that he doesn't agree with, you're probably right, and that's how you get radio shows. And then when you have takes like Shaw, you sit at home and you just yell at people who are on the radio like they're the ones that are wrong. So there's that. Now, Shaw was nice. He did say congratulations to Jason Fitz.
Look at that. Look at the maturity. Shaw, I did see your little video that you did over there at Frickers on Friday. Man.
Him and Steve from Springboro.
WWE. That's your new nickname.
WWE.
You went full wrestler mode, man.
You
wanted
all
all
the
physicality. You got it, brother. Goodness.
You wanted it. You got it. What the hell are we even talking about? Fitz laugh is like nails on a chalkboard. Okay. That's cool. Why do y'all got to be mean to the guests? We don't get a lot of nice guests to come on with us all the time. And the one guy that does, we got to be mean to him. That's totally unnecessary, Justin Smith. And I'm sure if I heard your laugh, I'm going to find something wrong with it. Be mean to Mr. Jason Fitz.
My side, man. I've been laughing too much.
So, no kidding. All right. We welcome everybody back. Again, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Someone pointed out your hat, said they loved your hat.
Thank you.
A lot of Bulls fans around here, apparently. Okay, so let's do what. So where is he? By the way, before we move on to this Cincinnati thing. Well, yes.
Oh no, I was letting you know.
So before the break, though, you highlighted the fact that Brian Hartline,
yes,
being rumored to not to take the UC job.
No,
being
interviewed. He's being interviewed for the UC job.
Ohio State right now, I know they're focused on they're trying to recover from what happened on Saturday, and they're sitting back, fingers crossed, hoping that USC or TCU loses this weekend. But Gene Smith and company need to be busy making sure that they lock up Brian Hartline. I've said for a while, Brian Hartline seems to be on the trajectory of potentially being a future head coach. I didn't think it'd be as soon as this offseason. My thing is this. Actually, let's just do this. We're switching gears to this, and then we'll get people's takes on both because they're both college football related. With the Brian Hartline report that just came out that he's going to interview for the UC job, earlier today it was reported that Deion Sanders has listed his final 3. Now, I haven't seen that be reported by multiple outlets, to be fair. There is a reporter, though, that did put it out there, and I will credit him just so that, to let people know where we're getting this from. But I found this interesting. Fox 13's Kevin O'Donnell. This is from Florida, out of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And this was mainly being reported as South Florida, like South Florida caught people's attention. So Deion Sanders, according to this report, I've tried to fact check it. No one has come out to debunk this. So it's just based on this, that Deion has narrowed his list to 3 choices thus far. As you talked about earlier, he has let his team know that there are teams that he would potentially leave Jackson State for. South Florida, Colorado, Cincinnati. Are you surprised at how random those 3 schools are? I know there's connections to each 3 kind of, but like none of them are premier programs. If you said Florida State right off the bat, Yep, makes sense. You know what I mean? Like Nebraska makes sense for them. I don't know if it makes sense for him, but very interesting though. But the Bearcats caught my attention for obvious reasons.
The only rando for me is Colorado. I don't see a connection there. Obviously, him being a former Cincinnati Reds player, he lived in Cincinnati after playing with the Reds for some years.
That would be nuts.
Also, obviously, him being from Fort Myers, Florida. So any school in Florida would obviously love to have Deion Sanders at the helm. For me, for Deion, I mean, the connection and the want is UC. I would love for him to be at UC going into the Big 12. Obviously, the connection to the city of Cincinnati, being a former player, the Under Armour connection that he has already with them. He played with the Ravens. That's how he really got that Under Armour connection going. Jackson State is an Under Armour school, so we all know how those situations work with coaches and shoe programs. So I think that's a natural connection there. So I mean, we haven't heard it from him. This is a lot of hearsay outside of the fact that he's on his interview with 60 Minutes. He said, if there's a program out there, I'm going to tell my players that I'm going to go. I'm not going to leave them in the wind. I'm going to be honest with them, just like I want them to be honest with me. And that always struck me, hard because, a lot of this stuff is just like rumors and a lot of hearsay. Like last week, we were talking about with Lane Kiffin and all those rumors around
the jokes on Ole Miss because they panicked and extended him. He's
exactly.
Not even top 25. I get cracks me up like that benefited Lane Kiffin.
Exactly. It's a game of chicken on like, are they going to blink and give me more money? So we want honesty out of these coaches. We want the players to be honest with the coaches in the program. And for the first time, it seems like the coaches being honest with the players too, which I can appreciate. So, I mean, I think he's going to ultimately end up staying though, because I don't think that Colorado is quote unquote good enough. I don't think that South Florida is quote unquote good enough. And I'm not sure UC is going to allow Deion to be Deion, quote unquote.
So my thing is this, and this is not a shot at HBCU schools at all, because I know how when you say certain things, it could be misconstrued. Jackson State, when you talk about Deion Sanders in primetime and who he is, it's not a shot at HBCUs, but this is non-elite Power Fives. He's made a nice career so far at an HBCU school that has little to no resources.
Right.
He has turned them into a well-known name. Like, that's really – so I know what you're saying, like Colorado. He strikes me as a guy that he likes to go places where he's not expected to go and then make them relevant, and that feeds that fire of his. I think he gets pure enjoyment out of the fact that he got Jackson State, that he got 5 stars to pick Jackson State with little to no resources over Alabama. I think he got great joy in that. He loves showing up to do those Aflac commercials or whatever with Nick Saban. Nick Saban has every dime and resource and anything imaginable to land the recruiting class he does. Deion doesn't. Deion's pulling guys from him. He's pulling guys from Ohio State. He's pulling guys from everywhere. I think he enjoys that. So I think it doesn't surprise me that there's not a bigger school in that mix, because I think he's the guy that he has this mindset of who he is of, I kind of want to go somewhere that's a challenge, and I don't want to have Florida State. I go there. They've proven they could do it before without me. I want to kind of go somewhere where it hasn't been done. Colorado, whatever, South Florida. Cincinnati, I think, is the most intriguing. Now, to be fair, people, the way I view Colorado, boring, yawn, whatever. People in Colorado probably hear Cincinnati and say boring, yawn. It's Cincinnati. Who cares, right?
Right.
Cincinnati interests me, though. I had a Buckeye fan reach out to me earlier today, and it ties in perfect with the news that you just announced earlier that Brian Hartline is interviewing for the Cincinnati job. Good. I hope they get Deion. Leave Brian Hartline alone. And I said, I understand why you're saying that, but I think Deion to Cincinnati is a bigger thorn in the side of Ohio State than losing out on Brian Hartline.
100%.
Deion is going – so we're talking college football playoffs. You guys want to talk about biases. Why can Ohio State lose, get blown out, and still be number 5 and have a chance to slide into the playoff? Why can Alabama have 2 losses and still have a chance to make the college football playoff? Why is it that those schools get that bias branded, or they have those brands we talked about earlier, the brand bias? Those brand biases exist not because, the committee, they think they're good for no reason. You know why Ohio State gets the benefit of the doubt? Because we talk Ohio State 365 days a year. In the middle of July, look at all the 5 stars they keep getting. Look at all the 4 stars they keep getting. You know who's not being talked about during that time? TCU. TCU football, the committee, they are human beings who constantly, when they read up on these schools, they're not seeing TCU headlines. They're not seeing Cincinnati headlines. They're not seeing this. So these schools are in the back of their mind. They're not being thought about. They're not being talked about.
100%. They beat Texas and Oklahoma. And right now, Texas and Oklahoma are still more front page news about the Big 12 than the actual team that won. I mean, Baylor won that Big 12 last year. They're an afterthought going into the season. Everybody was talking about Texas and Oklahoma. And they didn't even win the conference last year. They're not playing in the conference championship game again. So yeah, it's brand. It's the brand.
And we always talk about in the top preseason polls, where do you come up with this stuff from? The preseason rankings are built from the guys you had on the team last year, mixed with the recruiting rankings and mixed with human beings who and they don't realize it. They don't realize that they're hearing Ohio State all the time. TCU is not a name brand. Duh. That's why they're not getting the benefit of the doubt like other schools will. Cincinnati, this is why Deion is important. Deion at Cincinnati, we're going to talk about Deion and the recruiting tactics. We're going to hear about Deion getting all these 4s and 5 stars. Cincinnati will be a ginormous brand, not just in the Big 12, but in the state of Ohio.
Yes, sir.
That is a problem for Ohio State. So for those of you out there who are freaking out about Brian Hartline going there, you're actually lucky. If UC gets Brian Hartline instead of Deion, I think Ohio State catches a break right there, because I'm telling you, think about this year alone. What if Deion was already at Cincinnati and all these 4s and 5s are flocking to Cincinnati? And Ohio State, from the perception battle right now, they've taken a major hit. They've lost to that team up north back-to-back years. They might miss the playoff for back-to-back years. After the matchup between Ohio State and Michigan when they lost on the post-game show, there's a sea of Ohio State fans chanting, "We want Urban," going over the Fox airwaves. Okay, folks, Ohio State, this is as vulnerable as the program has been for a while. You know why they've been able to get through vulnerable moments in years past? It's because there's been no one there to challenge them. The Ohio State owns the state of Ohio. And even if Cincinnati's good, they'll still own it. But they've never had to fight for it. They've never had to fight for Ohio's love. They are the university in Ohio. Deion to Cincinnati will change that in a hurry. Well, we don't know if he could coach or not. Stop it. Stop. He's going to get guys around him that can coach. And by the way, we don't know if Brian Hartline can coach. The only thing he knows how to do is get wide receivers. So that's not a shot at him, but we know more about Deion's ability to lead a team than Brian Hartline. And that's not a shot at Brian Hartline, but that's the trajectory Brian Hartline's on. But I love how we see Deion do it. Well, he's just doing it at HBCU.
Deion Sanders is coached in high school. He's coached at the college level. He has head coaching experience. Brian Hartline has no head coaching experience. Brian Hartline is a great wide receiver coach and a great recruiter. And, you see they'll be they're good if they get Brian Hartline, and they'll be good if they get Deion Sanders. But you're right. You're right. 100% right. I mean, all these guys that in the state of Ohio, I'm not even really concerned about that. Deion Sanders, if he takes the UC job, Travis Hunter, he's coming. He was the #1 player in the class last year. He's coming to UC. His son, the quarterback, he's coming to UC. Like, all the dudes that he brought there, all the 4-star dudes and 5-star dudes that he brought there, they're hitting the portal. They'll be in Cincinnati with Coach Prime. And then all these guys that are jumping in the portal left and right, my Twitter's going crazy. All these 4- and 5-star dudes that are just jumping in the portal because they're not getting so much playing time at their current institution, they'll be at UC. There's 2 programs out there that have dominated in the transfer portal, and there's no wonder why they play good football this year. Jackson State, Tennessee, and Florida State. Those are the top, in USC. Those are the 4 best teams in the transfer portal, and those teams have had great seasons. They have bounced back. I mean, at Florida State, they won 8 games Mike Norvell's first 2 years. They won 9 this past season. You look at what they've been able to do at USC. They're 1 win away from the college football playoff. They killed it in the transfer portal. The transfer portal is where you go to fix it quick. And best believe UC will be on the trajectory of balling out of control if Deion Sanders shows up there. And I'll say this right here on these airwaves. If Deion Sanders shows up at UC and he's there for like 4 or 5 years, Ohio State and UC need to play once a year. Just like everybody else. Everybody else that got 2 state programs, they need to play.
So, and that's why I'm saying. So I brought all this up because earlier today people were freaking out. Good, get Brian Hartline or let them take Deion so they leave Brian Hartline alone. And I was laughing. I'm like, you guys don't understand. Losing Brian Hartline will hurt Ohio State, but it's a lot easier to find a Brian Hartline than it is to make a move to counter what Deion would bring to Cincinnati. Ohio State's never been tested before. And Deion to Cincinnati doesn't make them better than Ohio State. But Ohio State has never been tested. They've never had to share the spotlight. They don't want to share it. And with Deion, I'm sorry, but Ryan Day, you're not winning a popularity contest. All right, Ohio State and Cincinnati, Ohio State will win a popularity contest, which is what I'd say 80% of recruiting comes down to when it comes to coaching and personnel. No one out there, not even Nick Saban, no one out there is competing with Deion. That's why Deion has made headlines the way he is, and he's been very methodical and calculated with his decision-making. That's why, to your point, it doesn't seem right that he would take any 3 of these jobs. But of those 3 that are at least being reported, I think Cincinnati's the sexiest of all of them. I think he can make he'll make an immediate impact anywhere.
Yeah.
But, man, I think as a sports talk radio show host, that's chaos. Deion to Cincinnati, that's just massive. That is awesome. Huge. Right? Taking them into the Big 12.
Yeah.
Taking them into the Big 12. And so I brought up that thing earlier about the biases with the watch Cincinnati. Everyone out there, it's going to take Cincinnati years to become a player. No, not with Deion. Because as I said earlier, you want to know why Alabama and these guys get the benefit of the doubt? Is because the committee subconsciously is constantly hearing them. They're seeing them in the headlines with the 4s and 5 stars. They're seeing them win the national recruiting battles. They're seeing them do it. That's going to be Cincinnati. They're also going to, at some point, start to get the benefit of that. Well, they lost a game early, but we know, look at this quarterback. Look at this. It's the USC effect with Lincoln Riley right now. All I'm saying is, I kind of hope it happens. I kind of want to see it. I'm still confident that it wouldn't impact Ohio State from losing the throne by any means, but I kind of like competition. I like that a little bit. But look at Ohio State's vulnerable right now. Can you imagine if there's a team in the state that's an hour and a half away that is dominating the headlines? That wouldn't sit well with Buckeye fans. That would be a major move in the state of Ohio.
I think, funny enough, I think it would affect teams like Kentucky and
Notre Dame,
Michigan State and Notre Dame before it would affect Ohio State. I don't think it'll affect Ohio State off the bat, but like immediately impact.
Ego-wise, though? Oh, I'm with you.
Yeah,
like,
ego-wise,
Ohio State's
absolutely.
not losing. They're not losing.
Yeah,
anything.
no.
I just mean like
ego-wise, absolutely. You know, and we already know, like Cincinnati folks. You know, it's Cincinnati, USA. It's not really Ohio. It's not really Kentucky. It's like it's its own thing. It's kind of almost like the state of Ohio ends at Middletown, and then it comes into a whole different state. Obviously, there's tons of people down there in Cincinnati that love the Buckeyes, but you know, when you drive around Dayton, Ohio, you're going to see a ton of Buckeyes. Obviously, you go up to Columbus, ton of Buckeyes. Cleveland, all Northeast Ohio, Buckeyes. But down in Cincinnati, you know, Mason down, you're going to see some Ohio State. You're going to see some UC. You're going to see some Kentucky Wildcats. You're going to see some Indiana. You get a little bit of everything. But, you know, it's cool.
If you gather all the scraps that Ohio State doesn't want, you still have a contender over at UC.
Yeah.
And right now, a lot of those scraps, that's why Kentucky's been a different Kentucky team over the last couple of years. You know, I think Stoops has done a great job over there.
Yeah.
They have a pipeline over here in Springfield.
Yeah.
With Mo Douglas and company. They're competing for a state championship on Friday night, by the way. Like, there's Mo Douglas's son's playing at Kentucky.
Yep.
So, I don't know, but I think this is interesting. 518-1410.
I did want to say something about the Brian Hartline thing before we go to break real quick.
I guess we didn't make enough attention about that real quick.
The thing about Brian Hartline, I don't think that people are understanding this when they say like, oh man, they need to pay Brian Hartline whatever so he can stay. Well, some people just have aspirations. Some people have aspirations to be head coaches, and you can throw as much money as you want at them. But if they have a head coaching opportunity, they're going to take it. Just like when people were saying, oh, just pay Marcus Freeman whatever he wants to come be the defensive coordinator at Ohio State. Why would he do that when he could be the head coach?
I remember the ego of Buckeye fans last year.
And that's the fans. And I don't think that Gene Smith or Coach Day think that. They know that, hey, man, they don't want a whole bunch of dudes that just aspire to be a wide receiver coach the rest of their lives. You know, there's very select few guys that just I'm content just doing this for my entire career. They want guys with aspirations and that fight and that desire to want to be a quote unquote somebody. So it's not necessarily Ohio State forking over a ton of money to keep him. It's like, hey man, if he has an opportunity to go somewhere, you don't want to just try to hold somebody back and like, no, don't leave us, stay here with us forever. You want them to, go and prosper and do their thing. So it's not really about Ohio State keeping him with money. It's more about like, hey, he has an opportunity. Is that opportunity a good fit for him? So it's really not on Ohio State. It's really all on Brian Hartline and UC if they see a marriage there for them to be the head coach.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the big key. That's going to be the big thing. And, I saw something the other day that said they need to just get rid of Kevin Wilson and make Brian Hartline the offensive coordinator. And I thought about that. I'm like, well, I don't know what Keith Byers has talked about this too. Kevin Wilson's role is what? Kevin Wilson, he doesn't do anything because there's nothing to do because Ryan Day was the offensive coordinator, head coach, but he still holds on to those play calling duties. I guess theoretically you could make Brian Hartline the Buckeyes offensive coordinator if Ryan Day is not going to relinquish control of the play calling, which, by the way, my argument's always been when our Bengals fans made that case about Zach Taylor, Browns fans sometimes say it about Stefanski, relinquish the play calling. I'm like, the whole reason they got the jobs that they do is because their ability to call those plays. I think if you get rid of them for the reason you hired them, that doesn't make any damn sense. You might as well just move on from them completely. But in this particular case, and by the way, Brian Hartline's smart too. It could be career suicide to go from wide receivers coach to head coach of the Bearcats heading into the Big 12, knowing that even the best coaches are going to struggle with that transition unless they're getting, because Brian Hartline, he's not going to go swoop in and get a wall of 5 and 4 stars.
Right. He's not bringing the receivers from Ohio State with him.
Deion would come in and get those guys. That's why I think he would succeed at Cincinnati right off the bat, as far as like right away. Brian Hartline would go in and he would take his bumps along the way. The problem is people aren't going to be patient with that from a guy that hasn't proven it from a head coaching standpoint. There's Deion, but again, Deion's going to get a higher caliber athlete that's going to be a little bit different. But you can't go wrong with either. Both great candidates. Good for Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a spot that good coaches want to go to now. Yeah. I think that's a cool thing. That's a Luke Fickle thing. That's a Brian Kelly thing. There's been enough coaches lined up over the years to help build that up. 518-1410. We've talked about it all. Do we still got Shaw on hold?
We do.
Yeah, he can stay there a little longer. We'll be right back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. By the way, 518-1410. Give us a call. Your thoughts. Deion Sanders to the Bearcats. I know you out there are freaking out about Brian Hartline to the Bearcats. Oh, no, that can't happen. If I'm you, I'd much rather see Brian Hartline take the Bearcat job than Deion. Deion creates more fits for Ohio State than Brian Hartline leaving to take that Bearcat job, in my opinion. We'll be right back.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Dayton Flyers basketball fans, don't miss Talking Out Loud, presented by Timothy's Bar and Grill, every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. with Sully. The #1 Dayton Flyers basketball podcast is now on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Game reactions and previews, interviews with UD Media, former players, and more can be heard every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. It's the Talking Out Loud Hour with Sully, presented by Timothy's Bar and Grill on 1410 ESPN Radio, Wednesday nights at 6. Wear red, be loud, go Flyers.
When I got the news, I was shocked.
I was scared. I was angry.
When I heard it could be treated with the right care, I was relieved.
I was happy. I was given a second chance.
Urology Specialists of Ohio offers men peace of mind. 5 physicians and 5 locations. Now accepting new patients. Make an appointment with a physician that cares about your health and prevention. Urology Specialists of Ohio, Beaver Creek, Springfield, Urbana, Xenia, and London. Online at urologyspecialistsofohio.com.
Do you or any of your family members, neighbors, or friends own a property that you just want to be done with it? If so, call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you to take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. Call 614-470-2000. That's 614-470-2000.
Don't put it off any longer. You know it's time. Time for a bathroom upgrade by Bath Creations. Bath Creations is a leader in bathroom renovations, providing the very best value in bath and shower remodeling and proudly made in the USA. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful modern bathroom that's safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save $500 off your purchase right now. Visit Poe Avenue in Dayton or online at mybathcreations.com and upgrade today. Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. Excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
Staples stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Frickin' chicken chunks, frickin' chicken chunks, frickin' chicken chunks, frickin' chicken chunks.
When there's no time to make food for your holiday party, carry out 4 pounds of frickin' chicken chunks for only $34.99. Give the gift that always fits, a $25 Frickers gift card, and get 5 frickin' bonus bucks free. Let them get what they really want.
November is an ideal month to plant trees in Ohio because the soil is still warm, which reduces the transplant stress. Plus, trees require less water in November than in the heat of the summer, allowing roots to grow in the cooler temperatures. When planting trees, keep these tips in mind. Select trees that are zone hardy for where you plan to plant. Avoid planting trees that produce slip hazards like fruits and nuts close to sidewalks. And don't plant large trees near or under utility lines. To learn more about the November tree planting, contact an ISA certified arborist near you by going to trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
Make sure your home's heating and cooling system is in shape for the season with the experts and community trusted service that you can rely on from William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning. We're offering exclusive savings opportunities on the new Lennox system. Call William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning at 937-222-8638 today or visit us online at DaytonHeatingandCooling.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Ohio license number 14911.
O'Reilly. See the road ahead more clearly with Sylvania bulbs and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, purchase select Sylvania bulbs and get up to a $20 gift card after mail-in rebate, plus 2 times O Rewards points. Replace your bulbs today and see better tonight. Let the professional parts people help you find the bulbs you need. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So I switched to Boost Mobile and got this free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone.
Why do you think they call it the Galaxy?
Maybe because the Samsung Galaxy A23 has a huge screen, and galaxies are huge gravitationally bound systems of stars rotating around a supermassive black hole.
And the phone is free?
When you switch to Boost Mobile.
Cool. You lost me at gravitationally bound.
Switch to Boost and get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power. Limited time offer while supplies last. New customers only. Excludes tax. 1 device offer per line. Only available on certain networks. 5G not available everywhere. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
Add a stylish look to your bathroom with help from Menards. Max has more than 1,000 bathtubs, shower kits, and shower doors to add luxury to your life. Our selection of Hannah shower kits comes in finishes like brushed nickel, chrome, dark bronze, and matte black. They're designed with clean, modern lines, chic hardware, and hidden hinges for easy cleaning. Finish those big projects today and save on Max bathroom products now at Menards.
More season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Dell's Cyber Monday business sale starts now with up to 50% off on select business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Call 877-ASK-DELL.
We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio.
Justin Kenner, Kev Nash back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. So, Dayton Flyers back in action tonight. The Bahamas. 1-2 friendly. I mean, usually you go to the Bahamas, there's not a whole lot of bad things that could happen in the Bahamas. We're going 0-3 in the battle for Atlantis. That's a lot of bad that can happen.
Yeah. You ever been to the Bahamas?
No.
Me neither. I want to go.
I work in radio, Kev.
I do. I do know where you work.
You know how much
all
I
the
make.
places you work.
You know how much I make. So the expected lineup for the Flyers tonight: Tumani Kamara, Deron Holmes, Mustafa Amzil, RJ Blakeney, and Mike Sherjams. I think what's lost in the struggles for the Flyers to start the season is the fact that Mike Sherjams kid could play, and he's as true of a freshman as you can get. And like, I don't know, man. Like, it stinks. Like, I don't like that Malachi Smith is out. I don't like that Kobe Elvis is out. And I don't know if they're getting Brea back or not. Again, at this point, though, I would just build around this kid being your primary ball handler, man. Like, at the end of the day, great things happen when this kid touches the ball. When you had your experienced ball handlers handling the rock, you were still a team that turns the ball over at a high clip. If I'm Dayton and we're going to turn the ball over, I'm turning it over with my freshman. Because at the end of the day, you could say he's a freshman, but when you have your experienced ball handlers turning it over, they're just not playing good team basketball. This is not a very well-coached team right now. They're just not. Eventually we got to stop it. This is year, 6 for Anthony Grant to be like the excuses have to stop at a certain point. But the thing is, there will be a built-in talking point moving forward that you're without depth at guards. But they're going to turn it over. They're going to turn it over a lot. But then that's what's nice about having teams like Western Michigan come in. You get to beat up on them for a little bit. Then they'll have Southeastern Louisiana coming up. Then they're at Virginia Tech. Then they'll have UNC Asheville in Wyoming. They should beat Western Michigan. They should beat Southeastern Louisiana. They should beat UNC Asheville. In Wyoming has been really, really bad, so they should beat Wyoming. You should go 4-1 over the next 5, Dayton. 4-1 over the next 5. You're 3-4 right now. That's going to put you 7-4, 7-5 at this point. So not the greatest record heading in. And then you'll have Alcorn State to close it off. So Duquesne, and Nat Davidson, St. Joseph. So we're getting closer and closer. I don't know if this is an at-large team. I don't think this is going to be an at-large season for UD. So they're going to have to find a way to get it together before that magical little weekend, that conference tournament weekend.
So you think the A-10 is a one-bid league?
At this point, it's not. There's no one in the top 25. There's no one that's, right now, I think in the top 6 or in the top 50 or going to finish in the top 50 anytime soon. When you want to talk about like the net and everything along those lines. So that's going to be what I'm going to be keeping my eye on. But I don't like the A-10. A-10's not good right now. Not as strong as it should be. Let's just put it that way.
Fair enough.
We'll see. But that's tonight again, Dayton and Western Michigan, 7:00 at the arena. That lineup's not bad, though, but it's the depth. When they have to go to the bench, this is where it's going to be interesting. I think they're an 18-point favorite tonight, 16 or 18 tonight. I don't think they cover. They win. But I don't think they cover.
18 is a lot.
It is with how bad this team is offensively. This is not a good offensive team. They can't shoot the three. So what they're doing is they're not, because they can't shoot the three. Deron Holmes, if this team could shoot, it would force defenders to have to go over the top on screens. And when you go over the top on screens, that's when you're able to take advantage of the pick and roll and those types of things, even the pick and pop. But Deron's not a great shooter anyways. Kamara will shoot them, but it's not like, they're not a good three-point shooting team. So defenders are going under. They're packing. They're taking away the lanes for the guards to get into, what limited guards that they have. And Deron Holmes, he has zero strength. The dude has zero strength. For as much muscle, he looks like he put on some weight in the offseason. But my goodness, that play that he turned it over that led to them losing that game against BYU, they got the ball to him. He tried to back the defender down. And the more he dribbled into the guy, the more he ended up out by the three-point line. And then they got it deflected. Then he tried to reestablish down low. And then when they went right back into him again, that's when the defender pushed him back out. He's not strong. He has not taken that leap from one year to the next that we saw Obi Toppin make. When Obi Toppin got a lot of that, that first year, he really, really good that first year. And then just became a lottery pick from one off season to the next. That's not the case with Deron Holmes. And this is why I said the 2020 season was going to be a very unfair marker for who this team's going to be. Though I remember saying that. Everyone crapped on me for saying it. I said the 2020 season was going to be the best thing that ever happened to Dayton and the worst thing. The best thing was the experience. The worst thing was thinking that what that was something that could be repeated. You can't do that because you can't go get NBA lottery players every year at Dayton. That's just not realistic. That's not realistic even at some of the bigger schools. So that's what I meant by that. So Deron Holmes is the next face of the program guy that comes in after Obi. So now everything that kid does, not fair, is going to be compared to Obi. Not fair. Because Deron Holmes is still really, really good, but he is not Obi Toppin. He's not even close. But right now, 13.2 points per game, 5.5 rebounds per game. That's not a bad stat line. He's not a bad player, but he's not Obi. But he's also not a guy that's leading this team to anything. And his strengths, they're not able to capitalize on it because the team can't shoot and they can't get him the ball. And he has no strength. He's not going to back defenders down. I mean, I don't know. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. They have to go throttle this opponent tonight. They're an 18-point favorite. They win, but I don't think they cover. Could be wrong.
I hope you're wrong.
I'm just a hater.
I'm sure the comment section is on fire right now.
All right. 518-1410. Let's go to the comment section. Or let's go back to the calls. Where's I don't want to go to Shaw yet. Who else? Who else do we have?
We have Doug line 2.
All right, Doug, you are up, sir. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How y'all doing?
Another day in paradise.
I wanted to make a comment. I guess I want to ask y'all a question first because I've been listening and I know Justin, you have and I'm sort of like you as far as wondering how beating Michigan or Ohio State beating Michigan and Michigan beating Ohio State, how that could be more important than the national championship. So I've been asking around, and I have a guy that works with me, and he's probably like, I mean, I'm pretty sure there might be Michigan fans like him, but he's like at the max. It's nothing means more to him than Michigan football. And I asked him which one would he prefer to win a national championship or to beat Michigan. And he said it's not even close. I mean, to beat Ohio State. He said to beat Ohio State. And what he says is that, you know, he's been taking a beating. He's only like 26 years old. He said he's been taking a beating.
He's been taking it.
He's been, I mean, as far as just, you know, just people, just Ohio State fans just killing him, you know, just y'all ain't nothing, y'all dot. And he said it's just been abusive his whole life, he said. And he said these last 2 years has meant so much to him. And he said he just been taking a beating. So like when he's at work, he always try to turn the TV and he says, why ain't anybody talking about Michigan? He's that upset. So I called him yesterday and told him to turn it to 1410 to listen to y'all because they were talking about Michigan. So what he did is he listened to you, and it was close to when Shaw called.
I don't do it. That's a bad representation of the show, man.
Okay. But what is that? I thought it was funny. He calls me back and he said, "That's what I'm talking about." Now you heard the talk show host. He would say, "Michigan kicked our ass, but it's about time." And Michigan did this, but they ain't really this. He said he did nothing but give backhand compliments the whole time. He said, and that's what I've been going through my whole life. So he said, that's why don't nothing mean more to me than beating Ohio State. And I thought it was funny. But what I wanted to ask both of y'all, and then I'll let you go, is would you rather go to the BCS game and lose or beat Michigan?
So
Kevin, what would you rather do?
So that's funny because a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, we had Jim Tressel on, and I asked him the same thing. I said, Coach, look, we know how much the rivalry means to you, but let me ask you, you could only pick one outcome. And I gave him two outcomes. I said you can only pick one of the two. You have to pick beating Michigan and not winning a national championship in a season, or winning a national championship and a loss to that team up north. Which would you pick? Of course, he did his typical. He danced around it and said both. You know, he both are very important, and he would have to roll with both. I said you can't pick both, but I'm not going to yell at Jim Tressel. I'm going to.
The vest is the best.
The vest is the best. But the bottom line is the reason he did the political answer is because he couldn't give the real answer. If the real answer was Michigan, he would have said I would have beat Michigan, no national championship. He couldn't say that. So because he couldn't say that, he had to not give a direct answer. So to me, that screams he knows. They know, even with all the propaganda that is built around the rivalry, that it really just comes down to you got to win a national championship. That's why it stinks that they lost last weekend. But if Ohio State ends up getting into the playoff, maybe they run into them again. My goodness, imagine. But at the end of the day, I think it comes down to championships. But again, this rivalry means a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah. That seems like it has to be the obvious answer. And you know what I think the thing is? I think that you can be an Ohio State fan or a Michigan fan, but if you really, really bleed that scarlet and gray and that maize and blue, you just want to beat that team more than anything. That's just the obsessed Michigan and the over-obsessed Ohio State fan. I think that's kind of how it is. But, okay, then thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. So you, though, your take on that.
I want to touch on the Coach Tressel situation. Coach Tressel is in a very unique spot to answer your question. I mean, he's older, so he's kind of like at the mercy of two generations. You know, the older generation where beating Michigan was the ultimate thing, and there was a national championship crowned by voters as opposed to actually playing on the field. And then the newer generation, which he helped build. You know, we talk about all the things that Urban Meyer and the cool things that Coach Day has done, but all that is on the heels of what Jim Tressel did when he showed up in Columbus. So that, you know, this 20-year run that Ohio State was on, it started with Jim Tressel. The first 10 were built off of Jim Tressel, the next 10 off of Coach Meyer. So all that started then. So it's kind of like he has to service two people. So he really can't say, hey, all the fuddy-duddies that I came up with, this is beating Michigan is more important, but shoot, all the people, the fans that Ohio State has gained over the last 20 years because of what me and my players were able to accomplish, winning national championships is more important. So I understand what Coach is saying with that. But for me, if I had to pick one, if I had to, what he asked us, what Doug asked us was beat Michigan and lose in the college football playoff, or lose to Michigan and win the national championship. I'll take losing to Michigan and winning the national championship.
Good for you.
As opposed to beating Michigan and knowing I'm going to lose. Now, if you'd asked me, you beat Michigan and then you're playing in the Natty with, you know, an unknown outcome, I'll take that. But if I know that I'm going to lose the Natty to get a victory over Michigan, no, I gotta roll the dice and get this dub for the Natty.
So 518-1410, 518-1410. That's kind of the, you know, that was the whole point of Monday's show. Some guy, he's not happy right now. He goes, oh, my God, came so close to getting off of college football. I'm about to just check back with this show in a month. People around here eat up college football like it's a crack sandwich. So he, you know, he's a little upset. Some guy's a little upset.
What's up?
Some guy loves when I talk college football, and he loves when I talk about Jackson Smith and Jake. By the way, I haven't been told I'm right in a while. So remember I said you're not going to win anything without Jackson Smith and Jake. I just wanted to remind people. No, he said, oh, my God, we were so close to getting off college football. I'm about to just check back with this show in a month. People around here eat up college football like it's a crack sandwich. Yes.
It's my favorite sport.
There's a reason networks are dropping billions of dollars to get college football on there. They don't do it because people don't care about it. But, yeah, 518-1410, 518-1410. Your hat game's also getting a lot of compliments as well. Yeah, you know, so I'll read that to you coming up here in just a moment. But the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. I promise some guy, I want to get into NFL. I want to get into the NFL. I want to transition back over to the NFL. I'm with you 1,000,000%, but got to give the people what they want. So there's that. But yeah, especially because Deshaun Watson is coming back this week.
You wanted to talk NFL?
Yes.
Too bad everybody wants to talk college football.
We got to go where the people take us. We'll get to the NFL. I mean, even yesterday, you were like, well, I guess we're not getting to NFL today. I'm like,
yeah, I mean, the Steelers won and nobody wants to talk about it.
The Steelers winning ticks me off.
Why? Y'all beat us. We're still in last place.
Mark Smith says, Kev's hat game, no cap.
Thank you.
Kenner's hat game, cap. And then some other loser from his mom's basement. Where did that go? Can't find it. White Goodman is his name. He goes, gosh, imagine.
Is that a golfer?
No, it's a troll that hides behind fake names. Doesn't even have a profile picture or anything like that.
No, that's the guy from Pros vs. Joes. Not Pros vs. Joes. What's that movie? Dodgeball.
You guys stop asking me these questions. You know, I don't
You've
know
seen Dodgeball.
Yes, but I don't like. Well, I don't have every answer. This ain't
Ben
movie
Stiller.
trivia.
Ben Stiller. Wasn't that his character's name?
Yeah.
White Goodman.
Possibly. I don't know. But he goes, gosh, imagine being called weak by a dude who's built like a potato.
This is awesome.
Kev is not built like a potato. Come on.
I am not.
First of all, y'all know what that. See, this is the stuff. I mean, did you watch Dayton play, right? Like, this isn't hating on the kid. The kid's built like a string bean. He's like 8 feet tall, but he's built like a string bean, man. He literally gets muscled off the block. He can't back anyone down. That's not an insult. That's just the reality of it. Why fans have to get offended by that is just beyond me. I have no clue. Because I've said it nicer. What's a nicer way of saying that one of your highest recruits ever has no strength down on the block? Maybe that's how to say it, but you make fun of my physique. That's fine. I'm fat. I get it.
You remind me of my brother.
My goodness.
Was that a year ago?
Roughly, yeah.
Good times.
518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Who we got next, Kev?
Line 4, we're going to Mick.
Mick or Nick?
Mick.
Mick with an M. How are you? Welcome.
Yeah, it's Mick, like Mickey Mantle.
Yeah, I said Mick with an M. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. I just got one comment about Ohio State and Michigan, and us Buckeye fans are praying like heck that we get in the playoffs. But we better be careful if we get in there and we were to play Michigan and we lose to them twice in 1 year. How bad would that be?
Mick, I thought about that earlier today. I'm like, because I really want them back in the playoff. I would love a rematch, whether it's the semifinals or national championship. But Mick, you are right. Like, because Ryan Day, I mean, he's just getting absolutely obliterated on social media. But no coach in the history of this rivalry has ever lost to Michigan twice in one season. I mean, that would be a whole other level that we've never seen this rivalry go to. My goodness. I don't even want to think about it. But you are right. You are right.
Thanks a lot, Mick.
Take care. No, Mick's right. It's kind of like Shaw's weird, creepy WWE tryout tough enough video that he did at Frickers the other day.
You wanted it, brother. You got it.
You wanted it? You got it. There you go.
Mess with the bull,
you
get the horns.
But it's true, though. Ohio State, man, like, I want that a chance at redemption.
But I'm a Florida State fan as well. It reminds me of 1 year that Florida State lost to Miami twice. They lost in the regular season, then played them in the Orange Bowl and lost again. I was like, you got to be kidding me, bro.
Oh, my goodness. 518-1410. Kev, who we got next?
We got Keith, line 3.
What up, Keith? How are you?
Hey, fine. Hey, how you guys doing? I'm really grateful to listen to you guys today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Can I? Anyways, I want to ask. I had a couple of ideas. I was wondering about. They said that Friday game with USC and Utah. They say it's going to be a shootout, but I wonder if it could be a blowout. Like one of the teams could, just like really take over. And so I was wondering if you guys know anything about that. And then with the Wildcats, and TCU, I wonder if what kind of team challenge would the Wildcats do with TCU? So those are the things that I was wondering today. One is a shootout, if there could be a shootout with Utah and USC, and if that could be possibly become a blowout, like one team just really take over. What do you have to say about those two games with the Friday and Saturday?
Well, and Keith, thank you for the call. You're good. I got this one. Thank you for the call on that, Keith. But here's the deal. Well, can it be a blowout? I mean, look, the line is, Ohio State was like a 7-point favorite over Michigan, and they got blown out. So the line this weekend for TCU and Kansas State is a 1-possession line, and the same thing for the other one. I guess I'm going to take his question and hijack it. Which one is more likely to turn into a blowout? The TCU Kansas State game, Kev, or USC and Utah? A blowout, not a shootout, a blowout.
Yeah, I see that one being closer to a blowout situation in USC's favor. I mean, they know that they have to win that game. I mean, there's so much on the line. Obviously, the Pac-12 championship, punching their ticket to the college football playoff. If they win that, you might as well go ahead and send Caleb Williams the Heisman Trophy. Because, I mean, let's be real. Like, there's no other really candidates out there, really. is really him and Max Duggan, the quarterback from TCU. Like those are like the guys that are leading their teams right now. So
no Stroud.
No,
I'm with you on that. I got hate for that the other day, and I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been kind of out on Stroud even before the Michigan game, but I went into Michigan saying I'm out on Stroud right now. But if Stroud comes and balls out and leads him to a blowout win, I think he's going to be catapulted right back to the front. But Stroud's been very up and down, as is Ohio State all season. But I think what you're seeing from USC's quarterback too.
I think it's more for me. It's more of a Ohio State has just been here. They've been kind of the same team all year, and they haven't had the necessary moments for it to be a Heisman moment. Like he had a chance last week, which would have been a Heisman moment. But if you look at everything that Max Duggan has been doing, I know a lot of people haven't because it's TCU. They play in the Big 12, yada, yada, yada. But they've had 5 comeback victories in the fourth quarter. And when you're the quarterback doing that,
you're
and
leading the charge.
you're leading the charge, and
Not
you're
bad.
putting up crazy numbers, and then you see what Caleb Williams been able to do in the last couple of weeks in prime time, you know, versus their big rival in UCLA, and then versus another rival in Notre Dame. You know, those games are in prime time. Everybody and their mom is watching. So you see all these wild moments. So he has those moments under his resume. So for me right now going into it, is a two-dude race. Like it might only be those two dudes that need to go to New York, to be perfectly honest.
So talk about Duggan. The one reason I could see you. So which game is more likely to be a blowout, even though both are one-line games or lines or whatever? I'm gonna say TCU. By the way, Iowa State just got their doors blown off. TCU. If I saw more of that type of style game, and I don't, you keep a 60 on everybody, I get it. But can you at least prove to me that you could do it? Because you can't sit. I'm tired of people saying stop points aren't everything. They are though. When you talk about the lack of competitive balance in college football, even in the Power Fives, the one way that you could tell who the contenders and pretenders are, the contenders usually with the score itself can show that we can physically just overpower a team. TCU has not overpowered anybody all season long. So I'm going to say the game that I think could turn more. I think the shootout is USC. In Utah, the offenses are set up for it. Both defenses aren't that strong. I read a thing about USC's defense the other day. This is the problem, that USC's defense is the key to their offensive success. And I was like, what are you talking about? I guess you get the offense back out there pretty quickly because you give up score. But no, this is what Ohio State, Byers talks about this all the time with Ohio State's defense. I don't need you to be a top 5 defense in college football. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
But you got to force turnovers.
Yeah.
USC is one of the best defenses in the country at forcing turnovers. You could score on them, you can move the ball on them, but they're going to force turnovers. So when you force turnovers and you give Caleb Williams and you give that offense more possessions, that's why USC is so dangerous, is because their defense, you may get in a shootout with them, but those 2 turnovers a game that they average, that's always the difference maker in their games. That's what makes them so great. Ohio State, we knew when we gave the ball to Michigan, it was like, my God, we got to rely on them to force a punt, because we ain't turning it over,
right?
And they're not punting very often. So that's what was frustrating about that. But Duggan in TCU, they blew their opponent out in Iowa. I think that they have a better chance of blowing out their opponent than the one you'll see with the USC matchup. We'll see.
We'll see
what happens there. We're talking anything and everything right now, and we're kind of going where the callers take us. So what's next, Kev? Who's next? No. Not Shaw. I'm not talking to him right now.
Well, I guess we're going to the NFL with Jerry.
Jerry, Shaw, that's sad that I'm going to talk to Jerry before you. And I like Jerry, but Jerry can sometimes get on my nerves when he takes shots at my teams. So we'll see what Jerry has to say. What line is all Jerry on?
Deuce.
All right, Jerry, how are you, sir?
Hi, gentlemen. How are you this evening?
Chilling.
Not too bad, not too bad.
So one comment as to why a Michigan fan might be more interested in beating Ohio State than winning a national championship is just like a guy starving in the desert and you give him a cracker. That's going to be the best darn cracker he ever ate. I can remember when I was
Ain't
younger.
that an Eddie Murphy joke from Delirious or something?
Yeah. Yes. That's the best cracker I ever had. Yes.
Don't worry, Justin's never seen that.
Did you just do the Michael Scott impersonation of Eddie Murphy?
I did the terrible impression of Eddie Murphy.
I had the Office vibes right there, but yes, continue.
Anyways, because I remember 20 years ago, I mean, when they were beating us handily all the time, I'd have given anything for them to beat Michigan. So I get it. But So it's going to be an interesting weekend for games, gentlemen. So I know my team is taking on your favorite quarterback, Justin. They're taking on the Chargers. We'll see how that goes. Who's the Browns got this weekend?
They got the old Texans.
Oh, Deshaun going home? Oh, that ought to be interesting.
What?
So here's the question. I've got both Justin Herbert and Deshaun Watson on my fantasy team. Which one should I start this weekend?
Who are your wide receivers?
Did you just pick up Deshaun?
Yes, I did just pick up Deshaun.
Very smart, dude.
Back.
Very smart. Wise move.
Yes.
But re-ask the question.
Who would you start at quarterback this weekend? Because, I mean, I know Deshaun is Herbert against my Raiders or Deshaun. Because I know Deshaun's kind of, obviously probably needs time to get back in the groove. But, man, I can see him wanting to put a whooping on Houston bad, though.
I'm torn. I know everyone thinks that because they're playing Houston that he's just going to go out and ball out. I'm going to remain confident that he's going to go have a great game. But, the one unique thing about Deshaun is the fact that he has not missed the last 2 years due to injury. He has been able to remain in shape. He's been able to continue working out, continue to get as many reps in that count as best they can without being around the team, right? So, but the one thing you can't replicate is game speed. So I think that his conditioning is going to be top notch. I think he's going to be fine there. But, you step into the pocket, he's going to have some overthrows. He's going to have some underthrows. But I think once he gets his legs back a little bit, I think he's going to be just fine, and he'll pick up right where he left off as the top 5 quarterback in the National Football League. So, yeah, I'm just worried. I would hate to put all your stock into just counting on him balling out against Houston because luckily it's Houston, a game that he can kind of shake it off a little bit and then, prepare for the Bengals the following week. So we'll see.
Yeah. Surprisingly for me, interestingly enough, Herbert's not been a great fantasy quarterback this year.
Well, he hasn't had any of his receivers healthy, and he has busted ribs. Hit the excuse bell, Kev.
Yeah, I got him and Mike Williams on my fantasy team. That explains why I've only won 4 games this year.
I hear you. All right. Well, hey, here's to one of our 4 and 7 teams making the playoffs. We can always dream, right? It'd be nice.
It would be. But there's always next year.
That's right.
All right,
gentlemen, you have a good evening.
Take care. Peace. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation.
He's not getting on, right?
Why?
Line 4.
Who's line 4?
That's the Ron.
He made a donation at the holiday help out.
I didn't see it.
Oh, you're going to be that way with him?
Yeah. He cussed on the air, bro.
But you told him if he made a donation,
cussed on the air, bro. Cussed on the air.
Man,
see, you're not in those meetings where Kev, you're supposed to be the responsible one on the show. You can't allow those things to happen. Yeah,
I might have let him on the other day when you weren't here.
See what happens when I take vacation. That's why I don't take vacation.
But to be fair, I won't let him on now. Look, so
just on there, bro.
But I had to make a big decision there because you know how much he talks smack about the Browns.
True that.
And the Browns kicked his team's ass.
You
see, it was a weird dilemma. It was a crossroads moment.
I love how you say kicked their ass and they won by a touchdown in overtime.
You lost to Jacoby Brissett, dude. Tom Brady lost to Jacoby Brissett. Lost in overtime. Tom Brady's never lost in overtime before. That's an ass kicking for Tom Brady.
Ron made a donation for real.
He did make a donation.
A hefty donation.
Well, hold on, Ron. You said you did.
What type of donation?
What type
Monetary
of
donation?
Was that like a?
So you didn't see the donation?
No, I saw his message.
You just believe anything somebody says?
That's a flaw of mine. I'm a caring person. I like to believe. I like to see the best in people, except this guy. What up, Shaw? Shaw,
brother.
Shaw.
Well, while you're trying to find Shaw, I got to give a shout out to Alan from Springboro. He called in and he said he's praying that Ohio State makes the college football playoff. And not only that, he hopes that they play Michigan in the national championship game. He predicts that will be the biggest viewed college football game in history if that happens. And I agree.
Last year, the 2 semifinals were the least watched semifinals, or the 3 games, throughout the whole playoffs. It was the 3 least watched games of the playoff era last year. So I got to ask, an SEC semifinal versus a Big Ten semifinal. If TCU and USC lose, and I'm really conflicted on whether TCU is safe or not with the loss even, but that's how it started our conversation earlier. But both of them lose, and then Alabama and Ohio State move up, and that would put Alabama, Ohio State would move up to 3 because they're ahead of Alabama. Michigan stays at 2, and then Alabama's there at 4. Imagine Alabama against Georgia in one semifinal, then Ohio State, Michigan in the other. I want that semifinal or Ohio State, Michigan in the semifinal to guarantee that they run into one another again, because it's fine. You got the one last week.
Right.
But to do it on the bigger stage would just be,
that would be
big. It would be huge. It'd be awesome.
That would be the ultimate college football playoff. Like, me as a college football fan, I don't care. I'm watching college football. I'm watching these games. I'm invested. I watch way too much college football. I've been watching TCU. I know nobody in Ohio has been watching TCU unless you got a family member that plays for them. With that being said, if TCU loses and USC loses and gets Ohio State and Bama into the college football playoff, and you get basically SEC rivals playing in the first round, and you get obviously Big Ten rivals playing in the first round, and the winners of those games play in the Natty. I mean, cancel Christmas, bro. Cancel Christmas. I mean, TV sets will break that night, and not because shoes are hitting it. It's because their servers at ESPN wouldn't be able to handle as many TVs that are going to be on those games. Like, everybody. Like, we look at the numbers from the Super Bowl, and it's always the biggest viewed TV broadcast in a year. I predict like those 2 games back to back will be 2 and 3. Like, it would be insane. And like, then you would come down to the argument, like, so we'll find out which conference is the biggest and the baddest in that situation, because only one game can be on at the primetime matchup. Only one team will be on at night. So somebody's going to have to play at 4:30 and somebody's going to have to play at 8 o'clock. Is it going to be the SEC matchup between Bama and Georgia? Or is it going to be the Big Ten matchup between Ohio State and Michigan?
I don't know if you saw it. I think it would be Ohio State, Michigan would be the primetime one, mainly because Ohio State, Michigan, that was the most watched game ever on Fox.
17 million, I think it was.
Yeah, the most watched college football game ever on Fox. That is pretty insane. So, and then someone said, because someone says about Ohio State being a draw, that's why they might get in the playoff. Well, Michigan's a draw too, because blah, blah, blah. I said, actually, Michigan, they're not a draw. They were part of the least watched college football playoff game ever last year. Just saying. So y'all can win, but no one's going to watch you do it. We'll be right back. 518-1410.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Your weather forecast today: a mix of sun and clouds, high of 36. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 22 degrees. And for tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies with a high of 39. I'm Eddie Zellick for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Houday Nation, Betfred has come all the way from England to the great state of Ohio with over 50 years of sports betting experience. No emperors, no movie stars, just a sportsbook you can trust. The Betfred Sportsbook app will be available on January 1st, 2023. Until then, download the Bengals app or go to betfredsports.com and have a chance to win Bengals tickets and exclusive merchandise. Official sports betting partner of the Cincinnati Bengals. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Missed Black Friday? Dell's Cyber Monday event starts now with deals on powerful business tech. The savings start now with up to 50% off on select business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping on everything and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for Cyber Monday deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation and discreet shipping if prescribed. You'll love your results. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
'Tis the season to be hungry at Roosters. That's why for every $50 spent on Roosters gift cards, you'll receive a $10 Rooster Buck back in your stocking. May your holidays be filled with friends and family, love and laughter, and of course, Rooster's Wings. Go to roosterswings.com today or drop by any Roosters location to purchase your $50 holiday gift cards and receive a $10 Rooster Buck in return. Happy holidays from all of us at Roosters. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a long-term contract to get access. Well, not anymore, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide with deals like our Silver Unlimited plan for just $45 a month and no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A13 5G for $149, all on a reliable 5G network. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. 1 month equals 30 days. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Hi, my name is Jackie, and a little thing that I love about the Chick-fil-A peppermint chip milkshake is the whipped cream and the cherry on top. It's like a little bow on top of this great present of peppermint chip goodness. It tastes like the holidays.
Hey, my name is Chandler, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A peppermint chip milkshake is the little pieces of the peppermint that you get. For me, no milkshake is topping the peppermint chip milkshake.
Order a Chick-fil-A peppermint chip milkshake on the Chick-fil-A app today. Available for a limited time. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Frickin' chicken chunks, frickin' chicken chunks, frickin' chicken chunks, frickin' chicken chunks.
When there's no time to make food for your holiday party, carry out 4 pounds of frickin' chicken chunks for only $34.99. Give the gift that always fits a $25 Frickers gift card and get 5 frickin' bonus bucks free. Let them get what they really want.
At the United States Postal Service, we're here to deliver fast and reliable service to help you get holiday ready. We offer free package pickup and deliver free shipping supplies to your address. So whether you're in Garland, Texas, Rudolph, Wisconsin, or anywhere in between, we're making it easier for you to spread festive cheer this holiday season. USPS, delivering for America. For all your holiday needs, including info about free shipping supplies, free package pickup availability, and restrictions, go to USPS.com/holidays.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure for max strength daytime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. DayQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure. The daytime, non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
God, I'm so stressed about my business not being ready for the holidays.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
Science proves quality sleep is vital to your mental, emotional, and physical health. The Sleep Number 360 smart bed senses your movements and automatically adjusts to help keep you both effortlessly comfortable. And it's temperature balancing, so you stay cool. So you're at your best for yourself and those you care about most. Life-changing sleep, only from Sleep Number. It's time for our Cyber Week special. Save $1,000 on select Sleep Number 360 smart beds and adjustable bases, plus special financing. Ends Monday. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Ohio, DraftKings Sportsbook is coming. To celebrate, all new customers will receive $200 in free bets. Plus, 5 lucky customers will win a $100,000 free bet. That's right. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving you $200 in free bets just for signing up today. No deposit required. Plus, you'll be entered to win a $100,000 free bet when you sign up. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and sign up with code WING1410 to get $200 in free bets to use once mobile sports betting hits Ohio. Plus, $5 5 customers will win a $100,000 free bet only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code WING1410. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966. 21 and up. Physically present in Ohio. Eligibility restrictions apply. See terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regularity licensing requirements. 1 per customer. $200 issued as $825 free bets. No purchase necessary for sweepstakes. Void where prohibited. Ends first day. DraftKings is allowed to operate in Ohio. See terms at dkng.co/OH.
Do you or any of your family members, neighbors, or friends own a property that you just want to be done with it? If so, call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you to take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. Call 614-470-2000. That's 614-470-2000.
Kev Nash brings you over.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. College basketball tonight. You'll catch it right here on 1410 ESPN Radio as Ohio State. It's on the road at Duke. It's a top 25 showdown. Last year we watched Ohio State get the win over Duke at the Shot. And then, of course, that big win for the Buckeyes last year over Mike Krzyzewski's Duke Blue Devils. Last year was Mike Krzyzewski's Duke Blue Devils, of course. But that was big last year. The fans rushed the floor. Nonetheless, but it's interesting as we sit here heading into this matchup because it's kind of cool seeing Ohio State play at Cameron. I think that's pretty neat. But Ohio State, let me see here real quick. I want to see what the line is to see if that adjusted on this. Duke is a 5.5-point favorite at home. Duke is 6-2. They're number 17. Ohio State just cracked the top 25 for the first time. Dayton, coming into the season, was the only Ohio school in the top 25 to start the season. Dayton fell out after their loss against UNLV, and then, of course, they just kind of crumbled. They really struggled against Robert Morris. They struggled against Robert Morris, and that's who's coming into the Nutter Center tomorrow for Wright State to play. These are the opportunities for Wright State, Kev, that, look, this will never be a Wright State town. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean that when UD's down that they shouldn't take advantage of an opportunity to pounce. It's one of those where this is another great year already for Wright State. Obviously, a lot can happen. Hopefully injuries don't take over. I know UD's facing the injury bug, but they weren't playing well even when healthy. But Wright State and Coach Nagy, just again, the longevity of him with that program, to have the opportunity to continue just to win. They've been to 2 NCAA tournaments before UD's been to their last one, right? And if they could get their, they have a tournament win since UD's won their last one. Wright State's trending in the right direction.
Absolutely.
And, they have this Brandon Knoll kid that I heard so much about last year, and he was injured, didn't play. Playing this year, and just got the freshman of the week out of the conference or whatever, but he had a big 20-point, almost a double performance over the weekend in that Vegas 4. But that's a kid to keep an eye out, right? So it always has those big. They always go out and get those big kids, man. Whether it's Loudon Love or Grant Basile, and now they might have another one that's in the works right now, becoming a big star out there. So we'll see.
What's going on with Loudon Love? What's going on with him, man? I know he was overseas.
He was in.
And
I don't know if he's
G League
overseas.
for a second.
He was with the Dallas Mavericks organization for a little bit. He played with their G League team last year, but then he got traded. I can't remember what G League team has him right now. I mean, he's not an NBA big just because of the fact that he doesn't have a shot. I'm not
power player.
And I'm not saying there's no such thing as those guys in the NBA, but I don't even know. I mean, to be fair, maybe he's worked on one, but he's not an NBA guy. It's not a shot. That's just the
no. And guess what? As you know this, there's more than one league that pays than the NBA.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's pros over in Istanbul. There's pros down in Australia where they make a lot of money, and then they come back home and, man, where you been the last 10 years? I've been playing professional basketball, making millions of dollars.
Mark Smith has to chime in. He will transfer out. Okay, Marcus.
Who?
The
kid from Wright State?
Loudon Love stayed the whole time. Grant Basile stayed for 3 years. I mean, but look, I always say it stinks when these kids do it because, if Tanner stayed and Grant stayed, I'm not saying Wright State's top 25, but they're getting people's attention. I'm just saying after the run that they went on in the tournament, I know they won one game, but that's how you got it. The programs get
start somewhere.
Attention. Those programs get national attention. That's what stinks. But there's a very good team this year. I'm just saying. So things get a little stressful down at the arena. You know, again, another season not meeting expectations. There's a program in town that's meeting all the expectations, and y'all don't have to get mad at me for saying that. That's just the reality of it. I'm just trying to shed light on the other program in town that's doing really, really good things. So just keep that in mind. They'll be in action at Wright State Snyder Center tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, of Robert Morris.
Rate her up, baby.
We'll see if they could take care of Robert Morris the way you're supposed to take care of Robert Morris. Just saying. 518-1410, 518-1410. Dickie, what up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing there, Dustin? How you doing, Kevin? Happy holidays.
Same to you.
How was your Thanksgiving?
Good. You know, I was impressed. I said something, I think, on the End Zone show with Deion and Tony Groh, and I told them I predicted that the Browns were going to win by at least an overtime or knock Brady out. So I'm not a bad predictor, am I?
Oh, that's pretty dang good, and that's a pretty gutsy prediction as well, picking them to win over Tom Brady. I mean, so that's really cool, Dickie. Good job.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I didn't understand the game Sunday. They just got outplayed, and Michigan had their number. But I'm saying I have respect for Ryan Day. And, I mean, he did well. But what they got to do, I just think the defense collapsed the second half. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, it was I didn't get the sense that was going to end in the way that it did. Look, I'm not saying that in the first half, I didn't think there was any chance they could lose to Michigan. It was a very tight game to start.
Nobody.
But I did not expect them to pull away that they did. I mean, Ohio State, it was like a bend, don't break type of situation all season. Well, they bent until they finally broke against Michigan. I don't know if they play again, if it's the same result, but as a Buckeye fan, I don't have any leg to stand on to say that because it's been the same result back-to-back games. So this is where I have to be, non-biased, as people accuse me of being biased when it comes to Ohio State. But this is an opportunity where hopefully they get a chance to get redemption. I don't want to wait another full year to face them again. Hopefully we can face them within the next month.
Game, won't they?
What?
Will they get a bowl bid, you think?
Yeah, but, C.J. Stroud probably won't play in that. It sounds like Trevion Henderson, Kev, I don't know if you read this yet, but apparently he swept his social media accounts of all Ohio State references, by the way. So I found that to be pretty interesting as well.
I got another question real quick for you. What do you think about Browns quarterback Saturday or Sunday? You think he's going to be okay and get us a couple wins?
I think they win on Sunday, and I think that he throws for maybe like 240, 250. I think he throws 2 touchdowns and a pick. I mean, I think it'll be a very, very good game. But I'm just excited to see what kind of chemistry he has with Amari Cooper and David Njoku and Donovan Peoples-Jones. And then obviously, the defense, they're not going to be able to pack it in. That's going to help the run game. I think Nick Chubb's going to have a huge game. The run game is going to have a huge game on Sunday because they're not going to be able to just, pile everyone in the box or whatever and try to take the run game away. They're going to have to be balanced in how they attack the Browns offense.
I'll ask a quick question to you. The Bengals, that game, in another week, that's going to be I think that's going to go down to the wire when they play the Bengals and the Browns. What do you think?
No, I don't think it could down to the wire. I think Deshaun's the better quarterback, Dickie, and I think the Browns kick the Bengals behinds. That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, good talking to you guys.
You too.
Okay.
I got something for young Trevion Henderson. I don't have a problem with the whole social media scrub, all that. I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with is we got to chill with this. Oh, yeah, I was hurt all season. This bone is broken in my foot. This is X, Y, and Z. We do not care. Plain and simple. Like, if you're hurt, then you don't play. And that's all there's to it. And the reason I always talk about injuries are a part of the game, and it is what it is because not only does us fans feel that way, but so do the broadcasters, because as soon as someone is hurt, we're going to commercial. They're not going to commercial because they want to. They're going to commercial to pay bills. They're going to commercials to get money. And guess who else doesn't care? Because they put you on the cart and they drive you off the sideline and they keep playing. So we don't care as fans. The players don't care. And neither do the TV networks. So we got to stop with this. We got to stop with, oh, well, I was hurt. That's what happened. Hey, I feel for you. No doubt about it. Don't want you to be hurt.
Is there more to this Trevion thing? What are you reacting
to? I'm reacting because he tweeted out like, you try playing with a broken bone in your foot and all this type of stuff. Like these are things that basically have been pent up all season long because the in and out of the lineup situation. We just don't care as fans. Like, we care as people being hurt and injured, but you can't wait till the end of the season and then things don't go your way. Like, oh, this is why I didn't play. I was hurt. It's kind of almost like when the Cavs lost to the Golden State Warriors the one time, and then after it's all said and done, LeBron shows up to the press conference with his hand wrapped in a towel. It's broken, man. That's why. Not saying I broke it, but he's full display mode. Like, hey, LeBron, what's wrong with your hand? Oh, nothing. Like, dude, stop that. Like, just stop, man. Yes, you're hurt. We get it. It's messed up. It sucks. I wanted you at full strength. You're not. But stop that. Just stop it. Just stop it.
Quick note on CJ Stroud. Where were you with him not picking up first downs on the ground during that game?
I was nowhere with it. He was looking downfield, trying to make passes. I got no problem with it.
Justin Fields picks that up. I
Justin
can't wait for when he drops in the draft because he refuses to run the damn football. Run the damn football, CJ Stroud. That's why I'm glad you're not going to win the Heisman, and I'm glad you might be done at Ohio State. No, I'm not a running back. Man, do whatever you got to do to pick up the yardage. Just saying. It was 10-7. Could have been 14-7 if he would have just taken 3 more steps forward to pick up the first down. Said he threw it away out of bounds because he wouldn't run. I'm a little salty still about the loss.
Should be. We all should be. Hey, you think we could talk NFL tomorrow, or are we going to talk more college football?
NFL. I want to tell y'all, Deshaun Watson is a top 5 quarterback, and he's back. And I don't care that he's been out for a year and a half. He's back. He's going to be a top 5 quarterback right away. Be a little right by overthrow some guys, but hey, Joe Burrow's played for 2 straight years. I watched him overthrow a lot of guys against the Titans the other day. That's not a shot. That's just the reality of it.
Maybe we should talk more college.
No, I can't wait for tomorrow. This is why, we've been talking college all day, but every once in a while I'll check the little comment section. It's some Bengals fan running their mouth about Deshaun Watson and stuff. And I'm like, we're not talking about that right now. But why aren't you talking about your team? The Bengals just beat the Titans, and Bengals fans are more obsessed.
Again?
The Bengals fans are more obsessed with Deshaun Watson coming back than the Browns fans are. There's a reason. It's because you no longer have the best quarterback in the AFC North. That's why. You're all worried about it.
Kenny Pickett, baby.
Oh, man.
1-0 on Monday Night Football.
Joe Burrow's the 3rd best quarterback in the AFC North?
1-0. Kenny Pickett, 1-0 on Monday Night Football, baby.
We'll be right. Oh, no, we're done today. We'll be back tomorrow. But
Peace.
Ohio State Duke tonight, right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Pregame at 6:45, 7:30, the tip-off. So catch Ohio State top 25 Buckeyes at Cameron taking on top 25 Duke. And that's right here on Dayton's radio, home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio. Mark Smith said I'm stupid because I hurt his feelings because his little crybaby quarterback's not better than Deshaun Watson.
Debbie's going to kill you.
Sorry, Mark. Quarterback stinks.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. WYNG 1410.